the genius scientist of the Dragon King legend. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Prologue. In the endless multiverse, there is an extremely powerful organization that controls these multiverses. The name of this organization is SYNOPSIS. The supreme god of this organization is called the Great God of River Crab, and he supervises all his subordinates. He supervises not ordinary people, but countless powerful people in the Author Realm. Once the strength reaches the Author Realm, the strong can create planes at will, and even the weak can modify the cause and effect of the plane at will. And now, a newly promoted powerful person in the Author Realm has a thought, and the fate of an ordinary person living on the earth has changed. Jiang Xiaofeng is walking aimlessly on the street. It is Sunday now. Even though Jiang Xiaofeng's company has a 996 system, it is now rest time, and Jiang Xiaofeng also takes advantage of this time to go out for a walk. He is an orphan who was adopted by the director of an orphanage since he was a child. The name of this orphanage is SYNOPSIS, and there are many orphans like him in it. Since Jiang Xiaofeng could live independently, he moved out of the orphanage, but he would go back to the orphanage from time to see the old director. When he had extra money, he would donate from time to time. After all, he couldn't forget his roots. Many people came back from time to time after leaving the orphanage, but later they disappeared and didn't know where they ran to. Suddenly, he saw a little girl walking in the middle of the road, and in the distance, a truck roared over. Not good. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't hesitate, or didn't think at all. He subconsciously rushed over and pushed the little girl away. The truck also rushed in front of Jiang Xiaofeng at this time. It's over. Bang. Jiang Xiaofeng was knocked away, and his soul flew to another universe. Let's go. Today's business is completed, and another time traveler is sent away. The driver got off the truck and the little girl nodded. So, I'm the legendary time traveler? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at his pair of white and tender little hands with a confused face, and then he knew nothing. Confused in the womb. 3 years. Whose child is this? A person followed the sound of crying, and soon saw Jiang Xiaofeng, who had lost consciousness, and started crying like a normal baby. Seeing the child crying non-stop, she picked up the child with some heartache. Strangely enough, as she picked up the child, the baby in her arms stopped crying, and then began to look at her and smile. Seeing the child smile, she felt her heart melt. You will live with me in the future, okay? She teased the baby in her arms, and the baby looked at her curiously, obviously not quite understanding what this sentence meant. If you want to live with me, I have to give you a name. What should I call you? Since I picked you up under the maple forest, I will call you Jiang Xiaofeng. Let's go home. The woman's name is Jiang Xiaofeng, the dean of the Junior Soul Master Academy in Aole City of the Sun Moon Federation. Her husband died a few years ago, and she has no children so far. After seeing Jiang Xiaofeng, her motherly love was aroused, and she decided to adopt the child. Time flies, and soon 3 years have passed, and Jiang Xiaofeng's memory has also awakened. This feeling is very strange. Jiang Xiaofeng knew nothing in these 3 years, but after waking up, his personality is still the same, and everything is as if he has experienced it personally. All kinds of habits are still maintained, and so are the feelings. In Jiang Xiaofeng, Jiang Xiaofeng felt the feeling of having a mother for the first time. Based on the memory of the past few years, I should have traveled to the worldview of Daoluo Dalu III, and I should be about the same generation as Tang Wulin, but I have only watched part of Daoluo Dalu III, and I haven't watched it later. The advantage of a time traveler is not big. After all, there is a martial soul, and the surroundings are full of modern technology. It can only be the worldview of Daoluo Dalu III. As for why it can be determined that he is about the same generation as Tang Wulin, because Jiang Xiaofeng once found a man named Mangshan to make things, and he didn't have an apprentice named Tang Wulin around him. But it's hard to say. Maybe Tang Wulin went to Donghae City? At present, I should not have a system. It is hard to say. In many Daoluo fanfictions, the system will only appear after the martial soul is awakened. The most ruthless one is that the system appears only when the person is at level 99. It is also possible that I have awakened a very powerful martial soul. Even if I don't have these, it is not impossible to wait here for Tang Wulin to solve everything. After all, their fight did not affect me. There is nothing wrong with a stable life. There is no need to stir up trouble. However, he has a feeling that it is best to start exercising from now on. The stronger the better. It is not dangerous, but I vaguely feel that exercising now will be of great benefit to me. Jiang Xiaofeng simply followed his feelings and began to exercise seriously. Jiang Haitang naturally would not support it, although she did not think Jiang Xiaofeng would stick to it. Jiang Haitang felt that it was like a child who suddenly liked a toy. It was fresh for 3 days, but he got tired of it after 3 days. But Jiang Haitang never thought that Jiang Xiaofeng would persist for 3 years. During these 3 years, Jiang Xiaofeng also confirmed one thing, that he and Tang Wulin were born in the same year, and therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng also prepared 2 policies. 1. If you have any powerful golden fingers, that would be the best. However, whether to go with the group or not depends on the situation. Gu Yuna, the first goddess of Daoluo, can also compete. Although I haven't watched much of the Legend of the Dragon King, I have heard that it ended in tragedy. Maybe I can change this tragedy. 2. If I don't have any powerful golden fingers, I have to build a good relationship with Tang Wulin since childhood, and I can basically be a carefree rich man in the future. But if this is the case, then I still don't think about competing for Gu Yuna. Even if I win Nana, I can't stand it. After all, it's useless if only Nana likes it. Gu Yu also needs to like it. And when Gu Yuna and the human side are in conflict, what if because of my butterfly effect, then Gu Yuna sheds tears and kills Xiaofeng? That's it. Now, which way I want to go depends on this martial soul awakening. That's right, Jiang Xiaofeng is 6 years old now, and 6 years old is the time when the martial soul awakens. This year is the beginning of Tang Wulin's cheating, and it is also the key point in determining his future direction. Chapter 2 Soul Awakening. The street in front of Hangshan College was already congested, with parents everywhere bringing their children to awaken their martial spirits. As Jiang Xiaofeng's mother, not a biological mother, but better than a biological mother, was the dean of Hangshan College, Jiang Xiaofeng naturally did not need to queue up. That's right. People with connections are so arrogant. As a person with connections, Jiang Xiaofeng would naturally have more professional awakening room, with more professional spirit pagoda spirit masters, to perform his martial spirit awakening. Although the spirit pagoda is noble, not all spirit masters in the spirit pagoda are noble. Spirit masters like these who come to awaken their martial spirits are naturally the lower level staff of the spirit pagoda. For those who have real power in the local area, they will naturally help them if they can, so that everyone will be better off. As soon as Jiang Xiaofeng arrived at Hangshan College, he was taken into an independent awakening room, and Jiang Xiaofeng's mother Jiang Haitang was also allowed to follow, because of her special status. The awakening master who awakened Jiang Xiaofeng's martial spirit was a female spirit master, and the awakening room was engraved with various strange patterns. Jiang Xiaofeng knew that these should be soul guide arrays. After all, the times have changed. The awakening of the martial soul no longer relies on 6 small stones, but through these soul guide arrays. Jiang Haitang also repeatedly warned Jiang Xiaofeng, you must calm down and concentrate later. Don't let your mind wander. If something goes wrong, don't worry, Mom, I know. To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng doesn't hate the feeling of someone nagging in his ear, because it means someone cares about him. And now that he finally has a mother who is willing to nag in his ear every day, Jiang Xiaofeng feels very happy. Dean Jiang, don't worry, I will help your son awaken. There will be no problem. The spiritual master patted his chest and promised, as if you can rest assured that I'm here. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Jiang Haitang, Mom, I'm going. Go, no matter what martial soul you awaken, you are my precious son. Jiang Haitang was worried that Jiang Xiaofeng would be discouraged because the awakened martial soul was not good, so she comforted him in advance. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded and walked towards the spiritual master. A white ball of light appeared in the hands of the spiritual master. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the ball of light and said, "Is this soul power? It looks quite magical." The spiritual master threw the ball of light in his hand towards the ceiling. The ball of light instantly merged into the soul formation on the ceiling. The formation patterns on the ceiling also lit up and continued to extend downwards, eventually spreading to Jiang Xiaofeng's feet. Jiang Xiaofeng felt a warm current flowing from the soles of his feet and flowing to his whole body. An invisible energy wave spread from Jiang Xiaofeng's body. The spiritual master and Jiang Haitang looked at each other in surprise. There is soul power. At the same time, pictures began to flash through Jiang Xiaofeng's mind one after another. The night system is my greatest masterpiece. Unlike the smoke system, build has extremely high growth potential. We extracted the nebula gas from Pandora's box and purified it to get the energy bottle. After research, people with a danger level less than 2.0 will lose their sanity and turn into a smasher. After being injected with nebula gas, they can recover by knocking them down and extracting the nebula gas, but they will lose their memory of the time when they turned into a smasher. And for people with a danger level less than 1.0, once injected with nebula gas, the nebula gas will be completely assimilated with them. The moment they are knocked down, it will be their death. Only people with a danger level greater than 2.0 can remain sane and in human form after being injected with nebula gas. And there are a very small number of people whose danger level is greater than 3.0. After being injected with nebula gas, they can use the build system I developed through the build driver by inserting any organic energy bottle and inorganic energy bottle. They can transform into Kamen Rider build. The night system is not a war machine. It was developed for love and peace. Even if I'm just a fake hero and the night system was developed only for war, I will definitely use it for justice. Not only are there pictures, but there is also a vast amount of scientific knowledge that surpasses the Daolo continent and the previous Earth for several eras. After this brainstorming session, Jiang Xiaofeng's martial spirit finally appeared, but this feeling was very strange. Jiang Xiaofeng knew the feeling of other people's martial spirit awakening. They all felt that something was released from their bodies, but Jiang Xiaofeng's feeling was completely different. He felt that something that shouldn't exist in the body was rejected. It was a metal cube with all kinds of strange patterns carved on it. Moreover, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that after this martial spirit was released, it had no relationship with him anymore, and he could not attach spirit rings or even take it back. Perhaps because it stayed in Jiang Xiaofeng's body for too long, Jiang Xiaofeng could barely control the cube in front of him, but only under certain circumstances. At the same time, he also felt that he had two more abilities, measuring his danger level and the fourth dimensional chrysanthemum. When all this was over, Jiang Xiaofeng finally recovered and began to observe his martial soul carefully. To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng still didn't understand what was going on. Then a round of brainstorming came, making him still dizzy. It would have been fine if he hadn't seen it. When he saw the appearance of his martial soul clearly, Jiang Xiaofeng's heart was in turmoil. Isn't this the Pandora's box in Kamen Rider build? What's going on? No, this can't be called a martial soul. It's more like it has been in my body for a long time, but it was separated from my body by the opportunity of the martial soul awakening. This is definitely the genuine Pandora's box, more genuine than Chiio's. And when Pandora's box was in my body, it seemed to have absorbed my original martial soul, so I have a little control over it. Wait, how did I analyze it? Is it the extra knowledge in my mind? They seem to come from Kiryu Battle Rabbit, the main rider with the highest IQ in history who rubbed the whole team's plug-in. I seem to have inherited his thinking and reaction ability, and his current danger level is 2.4, and he can inject nebula gas while maintaining his sanity. Although this level cannot use the Chuanqi driver, he can already simply use the power of the energy bottle to fight. So is he going to take the road of rubbing the belt and the plug-in by hand? Jiang Xiaofeng analyzed it and felt that he could really get by on the Daolo continent with the ability of Chuanqi. If it were other fantasy worlds, he might not be able to get by. But the Daolo continent is different. It is a shame in the fantasy world, a flaw, and even worse than the combat power of some martial arts planes. And even with the strongest combat power of Daolo, the gods are not that strong. You must know that the 6 great divine realms were almost wiped out by a black hole, and a snakeskin monster form can easily rub out a large black hole, which is enough to crush the divine realm. Chapter 3 Pandora's Box. While Jiang Xiaofeng was still thinking about it, Jiang Haitang and the spirit master were staring at each other. What kind of martial spirit is this? I don't know either. There has never been such a martial spirit in the records of the spirit master tower. The spirit master also answered with a confused look on his face. She had seen boxes before, but she had never seen such a strange box. Does Xiaofeng need to report this to the spirit master tower? Jiang Haitang asked with some concern. The spirit master tower is a huge monster for her small junior spirit master academy. For a child, it is not a good thing to be targeted by such an organization too early. If this unknown martial spirit is a top-level martial spirit, then Jiang Xiaofeng will definitely bear the pressure that he should not bear at this age. If it is a useless martial spirit, it may turn into a huge blow for the child. There are always some people in society who like to spray everywhere because they themselves are not good. In order to appear superior, they will hold on to other people's problems and spread them everywhere. Someone was once sprayed to death by such a troll. With these lessons learned, Jiang Haitang still hopes that Jiang Xiaofeng can grow up in an ordinary way. It doesn't matter whether there are any major achievements, as long as Xiaofeng can grow up happily and not go astray. Don't worry, no need, the spirit master replied when he saw Jiang Haitang's worried look. After all, some strange martial spirits will appear from time to time on the mainland. If every one of them is reported, the spirit tower will be annoyed to death. Under normal circumstances, only those unknown martial spirits that can be confirmed to be of top quality need to be reported. Ordinary unknown martial spirits only need to be recorded. I measured his soul power, and his soul power is level 5, which means that his martial spirit is not particularly powerful, and does not need to be reported. Hearing this, Jiang Haitang was relieved. After all, it is not a good thing for a child to be noticed when he is too young. In this way, Jiang Xiaofeng's martial spirit name was registered as Box. Jiang Xiaofeng did not object to this. The name didn't matter. Anyway, this was not his martial spirit, and the ordinary name was not easy to attract attention. And in a sense, I don't have a martial soul, so I don't have to think about the path of soul master cultivation. Since the fantasy route is not feasible, I can only take the science fiction route. It's a pity not to use so much knowledge. Back home, Jiang Haitang picked up Jiang Xiaofeng with a smile. Xiaofeng, do you want to become a combat soul master? Or a weapon soul master? Combat soul masters usually refer to soul masters who mainly fight, while weapon soul masters usually refer to auxiliary soul masters. Jiang Xiaofeng thought about it and decided to show his cards directly, otherwise it would be inconvenient for him to do research at that time. Mom, my martial soul seems to be unable to attach soul rings. Jiang Haitang smiled. Silly child, how can there be a martial soul that cannot attach soul rings? After all, she has never heard of martial soul that cannot attach soul rings, and then she saw Jiang Xiaofeng's serious expression. Are you serious? Jiang Haitang knew that whenever Jiang Xiaofeng showed this extremely serious expression, it meant that he was absolutely telling the truth to her, at least to her. Well, I can feel that my martial soul doesn't seem to be used for cultivation, but brings something else. Something else? Jiang Haitang didn't doubt it. After all, martial souls are all kinds of strange. There have been all kinds of strange martial souls before, and now there is another strange martial soul. It doesn't seem surprising. Well, at least for Jiang Haitang at this stage, it is so. After all, the higher-end martial soul theory is not accessible to people of her level. If it is replaced by a senior teacher of Shrek Academy, it may be seen that Jiang Xiaofeng's is not a martial soul at all. It seems to be a talent in soul guides. Jiang Xiaofeng replied. If there is anything, just push it to the martial soul. Anyway, Jiang Haitang is not a professional, and she doesn't know if what she said is right. In a sense, her knowledge is really brought by Pandora's box, so it's not a lie to her. Jiang Haitang thought about it. If she failed to become a soul master, it seems that becoming a soul guide is not bad. After all, the use of soul guides on Daolo continent is still very large. As long as she gets on the right track, she will definitely not worry about food and clothing in the future. Then mom knows. Mom will find a good soul guide teacher to tutor you. Jiang Haitang touched Jiang Xiaofeng's head and said with a smile, saying the most terrifying words, make up lessons. But Jiang Xiaofeng didn't care much, because in addition to inheriting the knowledge of the war rabbit, he also inherited the thinking ability of his genius physicist, that is, IQ. At that time, the teacher's teaching might not be enough for him to learn, so Jiang Xiaofeng did not refuse. Moreover, he didn't know much about the soul guide array in this world, so it was always right to learn more. Back in the room, Jiang Xiaofeng began to study his Pandora's box. Because Pandora's box was not his martial soul, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't take it into his body, so he could only put it in the four-dimensional chrysanthemum. It seemed that, because Pandora's box existed in his body for a long time, Jiang Xiaofeng had already completed the step of injecting nebula gas. And now, Jiang Xiaofeng can finally feel what kind of authority he has obtained in Pandora's box. Jiang Xiaofeng closed his eyes and began to carefully feel the vague connection. This connection is very weak. If Jiang Xiaofeng had not calmed down and felt it seriously, he would have even doubted whether this feeling existed. Soon, Jiang Xiaofeng found that trace of connection, or more accurately, the information flow. Jiang Xiaofeng used this information flow to feel the power inside and how much use he had of this power. What a terrifying power it is. Jiang Xiaofeng saw a huge black hole, a black hole that swallowed everything. The god realm was not worth mentioning in front of this black hole, nor could it be said to be huge. It was so small that it was completely imperceptible to the naked eye, but it had an incomparable mass. The mass of the entire Milky Way combined did not seem to be as large as its mass. Some people may not know what this concept is. You must know that a black hole is not a hole that will suck objects in, but an object. According to the universal gravitational formula, F equals gmm/r, any object has gravity, and the size of its gravity depends on its mass and volume. The greater the mass and the smaller the volume, the greater the gravity. A black hole is a strange celestial body whose mass tends to infinity, and whose volume tends to infinity. The gravity of a black hole is so strong that even light cannot escape, so it is called a black hole. It swallows everything, including light, and looks like a dark hole. On the other side, there is an object similar to a white hole, which directly connects countless parallel universes. The objects swallowed by the black hole are then exiled to other universes by the white hole, forming a perfect balance. PS. Please vote for recommendation. Chapter 4 Rabbit. In front of these two cosmic disasters, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that he was insignificant. No, it was humans who were insignificant in front of them. In front of this natural disaster, all the internal struggles of mankind seemed meaningless, even ridiculous. In this Daolo continent, whether it was humans or soul beasts, if they wanted to be truly powerful, they had to unite. The disappearance of the god realm was a good thing in a sense, which created the possibility for the union of humans and soul beasts. The soul beast's natural tribulation was a rule set by the god realm to prevent the emergence of a new dragon god, and the restriction that soul masters needed soul rings for cultivation was probably also from the god realm. The Zhuanshan Gong in Daolo Continent 1 was originally a practice that did not require soul rings, but after coming to Daolo Continent, Zhuanshan Gong also needed soul rings to advance, and this was obviously also the credit of the god realm. Jiang Xiaofeng guessed that this was probably a means for the god realm to further suppress the beast lineage. Now that the god realm was gone, all this had the possibility of modification. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that his right hand began to gradually heat up. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly raised his right hand and saw that his right hand began to emit a red light. The light was getting brighter and brighter, and the temperature on his hand was getting higher and higher, so hot that Jiang Xiaofeng screamed. Ah! Jiang Xiaofeng fell to the floor, sweating all over, gasping for breath, his heart beating violently. He lowered his head, stretched out his right hand and observed carefully. The abnormality on his right hand seemed to have never appeared before, but Jiang Xiaofeng could feel some changes in his right hand and body, and his right hand seemed to have some special abilities. What is this ability? Purify the nebula gas? An. Jiang Xiaofeng checked his danger level. Danger level 2.6, increased by 0.2 levels. The production of energy bottles can be put on the agenda. According to Jiang Xiaofeng's memory, tomorrow is probably the time for Nana to appear. If he wants to compete with Tang Wulin for Gu Yuna, tomorrow is basically the only chance. You know, Tang Wulin has the blood of the Golden Dragon King and has a natural attraction to Gu Yuna. It can be said that, if the opportunity to brush up the favorability tomorrow is missed, it can basically be concluded that Gu Yuna is not meant for him. As for what to destroy, if you can't get it, Jiang Xiaofeng is not that extreme. He is basically sure that he will be a Kamen Rider in the future. Although he doesn't know if he is competent, he can't discredit the title of Kamen Rider. I don't deserve the title of Kamen Rider, but I can't be a masked weirdo. Besides, his overall impression of Tang Wulin is okay. He may have some minor personality problems, but generally speaking, there is no problem, except that some people are maliciously picking faults. If he goes to see Nana tomorrow, he will definitely have to face those gangsters. In order to prevent any accidents, it is better to make an energy bottle as soon as possible. As for the materials of the energy bottle, there are ready-made ones in Pandora's box. The main problem is that the ingredients inside need to be purified before they can be used. The Pandora's box here is set to contain 60 empty bottles, similar to the energy bottle ingredients in Pandora's box in the TV series that have been drawn out. Jiang Xiaofeng reached out to Pandora's box and took out a metal plate from it. He saw 10 unpurified energy bottles inserted on this metal panel. At first glance, there was no difference between the 10 energy bottles, but Jiang Xiaofeng could feel that 2 of them were attracting him, one with a stronger attraction and the other with a relatively weaker attraction. He took out the one that attracted him the most. Since there was no auxiliary purification equipment, Jiang Xiaofeng could only purify it in the most primitive way. Jiang Xiaofeng held the energy bottle tightly in his right hand, and the right hand holding the energy bottle began to emit a red light. This was Jiang Xiaofeng fully driving his not so strong purification ability. The spider web pattern on the energy bottle began to fade slowly, and the bottle body began to change from thick to thin, and the original gray-white color began to gradually change to red. Jiang Xiaofeng's head was sweating more and more, and his body began to tremble constantly. He gritted his teeth and persisted. After all, he didn't know if there would be any accidents during the process of purifying the energy bottle. After dozens of minutes, the gray-white energy bottle finally turned completely red, and the pattern on it also changed from the original spider web pattern to the rabbit pattern. Jiang Xiaofeng collapsed on the ground, looking at the red rabbit energy bottle in his hand, and murmured, "Rabbit? I don't know if I can match this rabbit." He thought of the genius scientist, Kirai War Rabbit, who fought for the seemingly childish and ridiculous ideals of love and peace. If his ideals were placed on this continent, everyone would probably think he was ridiculous. No, even in his own world, he himself knew how pale and powerless love and peace were in reality. Unless one day everyone could have such a dream, love and peace would be possible. Kirai War Rabbit fought for this. As for Jiang Xiaofeng himself, he did not have such a lofty ideal. His biggest ideal was to marry a beautiful wife and live happily, even if he came to Daoluo continent. If it were not for Gu Yuna being the lord of soul beasts and responsible for the revival of soul beasts, Jiang Xiaofeng really did not have much motivation to become stronger, so he did not think he could match the rabbit, an energy bottle with special meaning. Relatively speaking, the early cross was more suitable for him. He did not have such a lofty ideal, but for War Rabbit, he was willing to fight. But since it is already in hand, it is impossible to tarnish his reputation. Forget it, don't think about it so much, go to sleep, I'm so tired. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng climbed directly onto the bed and fell asleep. Xiaofeng, it's time to eat. Jiang Haitang's voice came from the restaurant, but after a long time, there was no response. Xiaofeng? Still no response. Jiang Haitang opened the door of Jiang Xiaofeng's room. "Xiaofeng, eat," and her voice stopped when she saw Jiang Xiaofeng sleeping soundly. "Are you tired of awakening your martial soul?" Jiang Haitang muttered distressedly, walked gently to Jiang Xiaofeng's bed, and gently helped him pull the quilt. "Go to sleep." Jiang Haitang gently kissed Jiang Xiaofeng on the forehead, then tiptoed out of Jiang Xiaofeng's room, and did not forget to gently close the door before leaving. And the future also took root at this moment. Abyss. The Saint Lord seemed to sense something, and turned his head to look at the Daoluo continent, which was being steadily eroded as planned, but after careful observation, he did not find any changes in the Daoluo continent. Chapter 5 I'm just a soul guide. I don't have the power of a soul master. The next day, Jiang Xiaofeng was woken up early. Today was the time for the release of an epic disaster movie. The name of this disaster movie was Back to School. Well, this was only for the poor students. For Jiang Xiaofeng now, as long as it was theoretical knowledge, he could learn it instantly. Jiang Xiaofeng now was a legendary person who didn't listen in class, played wildly after class, didn't review before the exam, and got full marks in every exam. The school Jiang Xiaofeng went to was naturally the Hangshan Academy led by his mother. Under normal circumstances, he would start a study career of at least 9 years, without considering skipping grades, or going directly to Shrek Academy. Because Aole City is a small city, there were not many students with companion soul power this year, so there were only 16 people in the soul master class of the whole grade. I don't know if it was because of the birth of Monkey King. Well, just kidding. There is no story of Monkey King making trouble in the Heavenly Palace here. Even if there is, it will probably become a 1,000-year-old monkey making trouble in the God realm. With only 16 people, Jiang Xiaofeng was naturally assigned to the same class as Tang Wulin. When Jiang Xiaofeng arrived in the classroom, almost everyone in the class was showing off their martial spirits. When Jiang Xiaofeng saw Tang Wulin proudly raise his right hand and said, "My martial spirit is the same blue silver grass as the founder of the Tang sect," Jiang Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. "Good guy, you are really mysteriously confident. He is the blue silver emperor, and you, well, although you are right to say so, your martial spirit is really the same as your father's. Both are blue silver emperor." To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng likes Tang Wulin now. After all, in Jiang Xiaofeng's eyes, Tang Wulin is now just a child. After all, Tang Wulin is not a time traveler like Tang San, but a scheming boy. And Jiang Xiaofeng's favorite thing to do before traveling through time was to play with children. Besides, Grandma once said, children are the treasures of this world. Seeing that others were laughing at Tang Wulin's martial spirit, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but interject, "Your martial spirit is not much better, okay? Can you stop talking about others?" Well, it seems that most families have poor education, and will look at people with tinted glasses. Then what is your martial spirit? Show it out if you can. The kid who claimed to be the sword god Daoluo asked unconvincedly. Just when Jiang Xiaofeng was hesitating whether to show his martial spirit, their teacher came. "Okay, everyone, be quiet, or return to your seats. We are going to start class. It would be better to compare the speed of cultivation instead of comparing the martial spirits here every day." Seeing these ignorant little brats going crazy and committing suicide, the head teacher was almost scared to death. Others didn't know who Jiang Xiaofeng was, but how could she, as the head teacher, not know? He is the son of the dean. If the dean gets angry and fires these people, then she will be in trouble too. Fortunately, I was smart enough to stop all this in time. I'm really smart. Returning to his seat, Tang Wulin looked at Jiang Xiaofeng gratefully, and Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head, indicating that it didn't matter. In this first class, the teacher taught some basic martial spirit theory knowledge, which Jiang Xiaofeng basically knew. Some of them were from novels before the time travel, and some were told to him by his mother now. Moreover, today he also said hello to Tang Wulin. Jiang Xiaofeng had also thought about the future development direction. He was basically sure to go with the group, because the night system could not reach the strongest form at the beginning, and the powerful power of the night system could easily attract the covetousness of other major forces. Therefore, a suitable backer was necessary. After thinking about it, it seemed that only Shrek Academy was more suitable. It had the most advanced facilities to assist him in conducting research better, and its powerful strength could provide protection for him in the early stage. Some people might want to say, why not just make the genius bottle? Anyway, the materials are in his hands. You are thinking about farts. To use the genius form, The danger level must reach at least 6.0, which has exceeded the limit of the human body. Even the bubble form needs a danger level of 3.5 or above to be used normally. As for why not go to the spiritual pagoda? Because the water inside is too deep, it is easy to get into trouble if you are not careful. Moreover, the Spirit Pagoda, as an organization similar to the Spirit Hall, controls the supply of souls for everyone. What if an armor system appears at this time that allows ordinary people to have power that can match or even surpass soul masters? You know, even with the current mechas, once the level is raised to a certain level, only soul masters can control them. The Knight system is completely different. Even people without cultivation may have power that surpasses soul masters. Secondly, there is another reason. A certain failed author can't write the system in the Spirit Pagoda at all, so he can only go to Shrek with a group. Time soon came to the afternoon, and it was time to go home at school. Jiang Xiaofeng walked alone on the road and began to look for Naya. He had to find Naya before Tang Wulin, otherwise Naya might be attracted by that damn natural attraction and eventually choose to go with Tang Wulin. Of course, if Jiang Xiaofeng failed in the end, Naya would still get together with Tang Wulin. Then Jiang Xiaofeng would not be jealous or anything like that. It only meant that he didn't have that blessing. Fortunately, the increase in the danger level also enhanced his vision and hearing. Jiang Xiaofeng finally found the silver-haired figure before Tang Wulin. She was dirty and her clothes were tattered. She had short silver hair and purple eyes. Yes, it was definitely Naya. As if she felt that Jiang Xiaofeng was looking at her, Naya also raised her head and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng. Looking at Naya's beautiful eyes, Jiang Xiaofeng seemed to be touched. Well, she was dirty now, and it was hard to tell whether she was good looking or not. Jiang Xiaofeng walked over, squatted down and asked, "Where are your family?" As if she felt that Jiang Xiaofeng had no ill intentions, Naya shook her head. "Then where is your home?" Naya continued to shake her head. "Then I'll take you to my home. My mother will take care of me at home. She will definitely like you." There was no way Tang Wulin would come in a while, and something might happen. "Hey, whose child is this?" Several ruffian youths came over and immediately discussed in a low voice when they saw Naya. "This silver-haired one is really rare. It will definitely sell for a good price on the black market." "What about the one next to him?" "The one next to him is obviously from a rich family. Let's just leave him alone." Others might not be able to hear their words, but Jiang Xiaofeng's enhanced hearing was still able to easily hear their conversation. They looked at him with a smile. "Little friend, this is our child. We are going to take her back." Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Naya and saw that she was nervously holding her arms. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng sighed helplessly, then turned to look at the traffickers and said, "If you insist on taking her away, you should think about the consequences." A young man impatiently kicked Jiang Xiaofeng aside, then grabbed Naya and ran away. Jiang Xiaofeng immediately stood up, picked up the rabbit energy bottle, and started shaking it. I saw a few red rays of light from the energy bottle flying into Jiang Xiaofeng's body. Jiang Xiaofeng instantly felt his legs become extremely powerful, so powerful that he couldn't even control it. Since he couldn't control it, he would just bump into it. Several traffickers saw a flash of red light and were knocked to the ground. They turned around and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in astonishment. "Run, it's a soul master." Jiang Xiaofeng walked to Naya, who fell to the ground, and gently helped her up. Naya looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in a daze and timidly said the first sentence she said after seeing Jiang Xiaofeng. "Are you a soul master?" Jiang Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "No, I'm just a soul guide. I don't have the same powerful power as a soul master." Chapter 6. 5 years of huge profit? Seeing that Naya was finally willing to talk, Jiang Xiaofeng was delighted. At least she was willing to talk to him. This was a good start. "By the way, what's your name?" Jiang Xiaofeng asked with a smile. Although he knew Naya's name, if he didn't ask her this way and called her name directly, Naya might be scared away. Naya hesitated for a moment. "My name is Naya." Alas. Sure enough, he was not Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin came and made Naya fall in love with him at first sight. The same thing happened to him, but it only made Naya let down her guard against him. Alas, why is the gap between people so big? Jiang Xiaofeng was about to ask Na some more questions, but suddenly, Na's stomach made a gurgling sound. The scene froze instantly. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Na and saw that Na lowered her head shyly. Although Na's face was covered with dust, Jiang Xiaofeng could still see that Na's face was slightly red. "Are you hungry?" Jiang Xiaofeng asked. Na nodded and hummed softly. "Then come home with me. My mother cooks delicious food." At this moment, Jiang Xiaofeng looked like a weird uncle who was abducting a little girl. What? He now looked like a child, so it seemed that there was no problem. Nada hesitated for a moment, but in the end, she succumbed to her stomach, nodded, and was abducted home by the weird child. Tang Wulin was running home in a hurry. He was almost starving at this moment. Suddenly, he stopped at an intersection. He looked at the empty intersection and suddenly felt as if he had lost something. Forget it. No matter what, eating is important. "Mom, I'm back," Jiang Xiaofeng shouted while knocking on the door. "I'm coming." There was a sound of footsteps from behind the door, and then the door was opened. A woman walked out from behind the door. This woman was very beautiful. Although she was not a top-notch beauty, she was indeed worthy of the word beautiful. Nada continued to look at the scene inside the door. Although the decoration inside was not gorgeous, it was definitely worth a lot of money. After all, as a soul master, and a soul master with certain strength, her financial conditions were always much better than ordinary people. Jiang Haitang was stunned the moment she opened the door. How could her son go to the Junior Soul Master Academy and bring back a little girl? What is this? Is this considered premature love? "Mom, this is Nana, on the way." Jiang Xiaofeng repeated the whole story and also talked about his use of the energy bottle. Jiang Xiaofeng could probably guess that if he told her about his fight with those bad youths, Jiang Haitang would definitely teach him a lesson for a long time, so he wanted to use the energy bottle to distract Jiang Haitang's attention. However, it turned out that he failed. Jiang Haitang immediately began to check whether Jiang Xiaofeng was injured after listening. He was relieved when he confirmed that Jiang Xiaofeng was not hurt at all. Jiang Haitang frowned and scolded. "Don't be so reckless next time, understand?" "Mom, I understand. I'm fine. Besides, I can't just watch Nana get caught." Jiang Xiaofeng tried to divert his firepower again, trying to divert his firepower to Nana. This time, he succeeded. Jiang Haitang looked at Nada and asked softly, "Little boy, your name is Nada? Where are your parents?" Nada shook her head, indicating that she didn't know. Seeing that he couldn't get anything out of her, Jiang Haitang had to give up and gave Jiang Xiaofeng and Nada a bath together. Because Nada and Jiang Xiaofeng were still young. Anyway, they were still very young in Jiang Haitang's eyes, so the two simply took a bath together. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't resist too much. In his previous life, when he was a child, he had asked the waiter when he could not enter the women's bathhouse after entering the women's bathhouse several times. The answer he got was, "When you want to come in." At that time, he didn't understand what this sentence meant until later. When all the LSP want to enter the women's bathhouse, they can no longer enter. But this time, Jiang Xiaofeng can be said to have a feast for the eyes. Ahem. There is nothing he can do about it. That's right, I was forced to do so. It's definitely not because I want to see it. You know, it's a 5-year blood profit now. 5 years starting, the highest death penalty. After taking a bath, Nana revealed her original appearance. I won't copy and paste it here. Everyone knows what she looks like. Anyway, she is very beautiful. When eating, Jiang Haitang was naturally shocked by Nana's horrible appetite. Although Jiang Xiaofeng knew Nana's appetite, that was only limited to understanding it in novels. After seeing it in person, he couldn't help but be shocked. To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng even wanted to study the structure of Nana's stomach. It can hold so much food, but still has no signs of getting bigger. After finishing dinner, Jiang Haitang remembered the energy bottle Jiang Xiaofeng mentioned. By the way, Xiaofeng, what is the energy bottle you mentioned? This is it. Jiang Xiaofeng took out the red rabbit energy bottle from his body. This is what I separated from my martial soul. It can give me jumping power and speed. Jiang Haitang took the energy bottle and tried to shake it himself, but there was no reaction. After all, Jiang Xiaofeng did not have nebula gas in his body, so it was impossible for him to use the power of the energy bottle. Jiang Xiaofeng took the energy bottle back and demonstrated it himself. He took the energy bottle in his hand and shook it gently a few times. Jiang Xiaofeng saw a flash of red light, and Jiang Xiaofeng came from in front of him to behind him. This speed was a little unclear even for her strength as a foreign soul master, let alone ordinary people without soul power. Is this the ability your martial soul brings you? Jiang Xiaofeng asked in confusion. It seems so, but this is the only one I can really fully exert. Jiang Xiaofeng explained. He felt that he should be able to use the tank's energy bottle, but he could only exert 50% of its power. Other energy bottles were completely unusable, unless the creation rider driver was used. Jiang Xiaofeng took him to the administrator to inquire about Na's information, while Jiang Xiaofeng began to exercise again, and exercised himself with the rabbit energy bottle to see if he could increase his danger level. According to Jiang Xiaofeng's calculations, he could only fight in this way for a period of time in the future, so he must be proficient in the use of energy bottles. The research of some other equipment should also be put on the agenda as soon as possible. Jiang Xiaofeng inherited the knowledge of the war rabbit and the craftsmanship of the war rabbit. You know, in the TV series, the level of handmade war rabbit is extremely powerful. Without the assistance of any precision instruments, he made a lot of weapons and energy bottles, and finally made a miracle like the genius energy bottle. PS. Unify the combat power. The initial form of the build is roughly equivalent to the average level 40 to 50 Soul Sect Soul King. The bubble form of the rabbit tank is roughly equivalent to the average level 70 to 80 Soul Saint, Soul Daoluo. The dangerous form, before losing control, is roughly equivalent to the title Daoluo level. Entering overflow mode, or double rabbit double tank, is roughly equivalent to extreme Daoluo, close to level 100 god. Genius form is roughly equivalent to level 1 god. After fully exerting 60 abilities, the combat power is close to God King. When the emotions burst out, basically no upper limit. Daoluo's combat power is really too low. I feel that even so, the build has been weakened a bit. I have an exam tomorrow, I may have to take a day off. Chapter 7 The Life of a Top Student. And Xanta has a special skill, which is also the technology he is most proud of, element synthesis. This element does not refer to the element in fantasy, but the element in the periodic table of chemistry. Because of the growability of the build system and its complex and diverse forms, the metal requirements of the creation knight armor are extremely high. It must have extremely strong plasticity, and can react with the components in the energy bottle to produce corresponding abilities. This is obviously not something that the element on the earth can do, and this technology can reaggregate different atoms to form new atoms, so as to find the metal element you need. In simple terms, it is possible to synthesize iron with other metal elements to obtain silver element. It is also with this technology that he can create various strengthening props and weapons for various forms on his own in the absence of research materials. After Jiang Xiaofeng inherited Xanta's knowledge, this technology was naturally mastered by Jiang Xiaofeng. But even if he fully understood this technology, Jiang Xiaofeng had to sigh that this technology was really amazing. After a while, Jiang Xiaofeng brought Nana back. Jiang Xiaofeng immediately put away Pandora's box, ran over and asked, "How is it, Mom? Have you found Nana's family?" Jiang Xiaofeng shook her head. "No, there is no information about Nana in the file. We can only send her to an orphanage, or adopt her ourselves." "Xiaofeng, do you mind having another sister?" "Of course not. What a joke, how could I mind? I worked so hard to get her here, how could I send her away again?" "Nana, are you willing to stay in our house? Let me be your mother, and Xiaofeng be your brother?" Jiang Xiaofeng asked Nana with a smile, waiting for Nana's answer. Nana looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, then looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, who was expecting, and finally nodded. In this way, Jiang Xiaofeng spent a week in learning. In the early stage, they learned some theoretical knowledge, including Soul Master theory and some cultural knowledge. Jiang Xiaofeng learned that the use of machinery in Daoluo continent was not very advanced. Their mechanical technology was still at the level before the first industrial revolution in the previous life. Their technology was mostly completed through soul guide arrays. For example, the so-called 12th level fixed soul guide cannon, which was the cannon that blew up Shrek Academy, was actually equivalent to the intercontinental missile in the previous life, not to mention the nuclear weapons in the previous life. As long as it can be combined with the mechanical technology after the first industrial revolution, this soul guide cannon will instantly be reduced from level 11 to level 9, and the manufacturing cost will also be greatly reduced. This can be regarded as a gain and loss. With the convenient tool of soul power, they put more development direction on personal cultivation, and as a result, the overall progress of civilization slowed down. It took 20,000 years for the technology of Dalo continent, or the level of soul guide technology, to develop from the ancient level to the modern level, while it only took 2,000 years for the Earth in the previous life without soul power. It can be said that humans in the previous life had several technological explosions in thousands of years, while Dalo continent only experienced 2 technological explosions in 20,000 years. The first time was during the Tangsan period, when he brought mechanical knowledge from another world for the first time, which led to the first technological explosion in Dalo continent. The second time was during the Huoyu Heiau period, when he combined soul guide technology with mechanical technology for the first time, and the second technological explosion occurred. For the rest of the time, the technological level of Dalo continent has been in a stage of slow development, and the speed of progress is also unprecedented. Some people may not know the term technological explosion. This term comes from Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem. He believes that human technology seems to be developing steadily, but if the timescale is put on the cosmic level, it will be found that human technological development is simply explosive. Human technology may not have much development in the past 1,000 years, and then break through in just a few hundred years. This kind of thing has happened. It took thousands of years for humans to change their power source from manpower to steam, but it only took about 100 years to change from steam to electricity. Jiang Xiaofeng thought about these problems mostly in class, so in the eyes of the teacher, he was absent, but no matter how they asked questions, Jiang Xiaofeng could answer them fluently. They tried to ask Jiang Xiaofeng a question or to ask him to repeat what he had just said, but each time they got a better answer than the standard one. There was even a teacher who was so angry that he asked Jiang Xiaofeng to repeat everything he said from the first sentence he said when he entered the door until he was called to stand up. In fact, he was just angry at the moment. He could clearly see that Jiang Xiaofeng was distracted, but he couldn't find any evidence, so he asked such a question in a hurry. After all, even he couldn't repeat what he said in this class. As a result, the second half of the class became a mess, with the whole class of teachers and students looking at Jiang Xiaofeng with a confused face and memorizing everything the teacher said. Since then, this teacher has never cared about Jiang Xiaofeng again, and Jiang Xiaofeng became famous because of this battle. At the weekend, the soul guide teacher that Jiang Haitang invited for Jiang Xiaofeng finally came. Xiaofeng, this is your future soul guide teacher. He is a level 4 soul guide. You have to listen to him carefully, understand? Jiang Haitang looked at the arrogant middle-aged man and introduced him to Jiang Xiaofeng. The middle-aged man looked at Jiang Xiaofeng and asked disdainfully, "You are so young, and you are learning soul guide knowledge. Can he understand it?" In the eyes of ordinary people, a level 4 soul guide is already an extremely high-ranking existence. Even the dean of a junior soul master academy like Jiang Haitang cannot compare with him. That's why he dared to be so arrogant in front of Jiang Haitang. If he were in Shrek Academy or a place like the Spirit Pagoda, no one would pay attention to him as a level 4 soul guide. "It's okay, just teach me, and you will get enough money," Jiang Haitang said with an embarrassed smile. "Okay. Don't blame me if you can't teach well." Jiang Xiaofeng was suddenly a little angry. "It's okay for you to look down on me, but you can't look down on my mother." Of course, he would not say this to Jiang Haitang's face, otherwise it might cause trouble to Jiang Haitang. He was going to take revenge on the middle-aged man in other ways. The middle-aged man took Jiang Xiaofeng into the room, looked at Jiang Xiaofeng arrogantly and said, "I didn't want to come here, but your mother begged me again and again, so I came to take a look reluctantly. I will only teach these things once. If you can't learn them, I don't need to waste time with you." 5 hours later. The middle-aged man sat aside with a look of who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? In his face. In front of him was a level 5 soul guide that Jiang Xiaofeng had figured out by himself. In his more than 50 years of life, he had never experienced such a terrifying thing. He just explained some of the principles of the soul guide array and then demonstrated how to make a level 2 soul guide. Then the child in front of him said that he could do it. He didn't believe it at first, so the child made a level 5 soul guide in front of him. It took him 20 minutes to explain the theoretical knowledge and 4.5 hours to make a level 2 soul guide. Then the kid in front of him made a level 5 soul guide in 10 minutes. Am I crazy, or is this world crazy? Or are both me and this world crazy? P.S. What happened these days? As far as I know, 4 great figures have passed away in succession. I don't know much about the other 3, but Yuan Leo is so familiar to me. I have never met him, and logically speaking, they all died of old age, but I just want to cry. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 3 years later. P.S. Someone asked that making a soul guide requires soul power and mental power, but Jiang Xiaofeng doesn't have these things, so he shouldn't be able to make a soul guide. Let me explain here. The protagonist has the intelligence, technology, and knowledge of the war rabbit, and the war rabbit can make a genius bottle without sophisticated equipment and sufficient resources, which is much more difficult than making a soul guide. Of course, this is just the second setting of this book. At night, Jiang Haitang was going to ask Jiang Xiaofeng to come out for dinner, and by the way, invite the 4th level soul guide master to stay for dinner. After all, Jiang Xiaofeng's study depends on him. How can he not serve him better? Jiang Haitang walked to the door of the room, stretched out his hand, and was about to knock on the door, and saw that the door was suddenly opened with a pop. A white-haired old man rushed out of the room, full of despair. The old man rushed out of her house without any pause. That's not right. When did our family have a white-haired old man? Or did he run out of Jiang Xiaofeng's room? It can't be that soul guide master, right? No way. No way. He is a level 4 soul guide. The man's distraught look just now clearly shows that he has suffered a huge blow. He may be depressed for the rest of his life. How could he be a soul guide? Jiang Haitang laughed at himself and continued to look into the room. Jiang Xiaofeng was the only one left in the room. The soul guide had long disappeared. The only trace left was 2 soul guides. Although Jiang Haitang was not a soul guide, he could still recognize the level of the soul guides. One of them was a level 2 soul guide glider and the other was a level 5 flying machine. The level 2 soul guide was understandable. It might be made when someone was demonstrating, but would it really not be beyond the scope? And what about the other level 5 soul guide? You know, even a level 4 soul guide has a probability of failure when making a level 4 soul guide, not to mention a level 5 soul guide. If it was a level 5 soul guide, their family would not be able to hire one. So where did this level 5 soul guide come from? And where is the soul guide master? Xiaofeng, where is the teacher? Jiang Haitang asked in confusion. That's the one who just left, right? Jiang Xiaofeng tilted his head and answered innocently. That was him? Jiang Haitang was at a loss. What on earth did a person go through to become like that in such a short time? Then why did he leave? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head, picked up the flying machine he made, and answered innocently, I don't know, I made this, and he ran away. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng's innocent look, Jiang Haitang nodded subconsciously. That's strange. How could he become like that and run away? Hey, wait, something seems wrong. What did you say? Did you make this yourself? Jiang Haitang's voice rose 8 degrees. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded, then took 3 minutes to dismantle it to pieces, and took another 5 minutes to put it all back together. Jiang Haitang took a breath of cold air, and the global temperature rose a few degrees in an instant. Then Jiang Haitang looked at Jiang Xiaofeng seriously. Remember, before you are strong enough, never show all your soul guide talent. Although Jiang Xiaofeng was not very involved in the Soul Master world, she still knew the truth, that a tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. If Jiang Xiaofeng was just a normal talent, it would be fine. The major organizations might look up to him, but they would not take him seriously before he grew up. But the concept of making a level 5 soul guide at the age of 6 is a bit scary. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't know how he did it, but if the news spread, it would definitely not be a good thing for Jiang Xiaofeng. Now the status of soul masters has been gradually weakened. In this era without gods, the development of soul guides has become an inevitable trend. A child prodigy who can make a level 5 soul guide alone at the age of 6 may be more valuable than a titled Daoluo. Before he finds enough backers, or has enough strength, this talent may bring him a fatal disaster at any time. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng's serious expression, Jiang Xiaofeng also realized that his actions were inappropriate. But it's okay now. The words of a 4th level soul master are really not of much reference value on this continent. Well, I know. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded seriously. This place is different from his previous life. In his previous life, he had a powerful motherland that could help him block everything. But it's not the same here. Soul masters are above the law. The Sun and Moon Federation is full of intrigues. There is also a god realm above it that I don't know if there are any backups. In short, I'm still a little bit floating, but fortunately, it has not caused any irreversible consequences. Seeing that Jiang Xiaofeng listened, Jiang Xiaofeng touched Jiang Xiaofeng's head with relief. 3 years later. Bang! Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly got up from the bed and ran to the place where the explosion sounded. It was a wall full of mechanical scents, filled with complex circuits and various strange soul guide arrays. This is Jiang Xiaofeng's homemade energy bottle purification device. After combining the soul guide array of this world, the effect of this device has surpassed the purification device made by Zhen. It does not require a person with purification ability to operate it for a long time. As long as some purification energy is injected at the beginning, this device can complete the subsequent purification process of the energy bottle by itself. Hearing the explosion, Nair also climbed up from the bed instantly and asked with a look of surprise, "Is the energy bottle purified? What energy bottle is it this time?" Jiang Xiaofeng took out a blue energy bottle from the grid. When he first got it, Jiang Xiaofeng could feel that this energy bottle contained more powerful power than other energy bottles. And on the blue bottle, there was a dragon's head. Nah, it's a dragon. Jiang Xiaofeng raised the dragon energy bottle and waved to Nana. In the past 3 years, Nana finally regarded this place as her own home. Just like in the original book, she did not awaken her martial spirit and could only learn cultural knowledge. Jiang Xiaofeng also became a godlike figure in school, but his soul power could not break through level 10 no matter what. In these 3 years, Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin also formed a deep friendship. After all, Jiang Xiaofeng liked Tang Wulin very much when he was a child. He is not quite the same as Tang San. Jiang Xiaofeng has analyzed that Tang San is probably the type who doesn't care about the destruction of the world. As long as his family and friends are doing well, everything else has nothing to do with him. His character is not as bad as the ones on the internet, such as loving Xiao Wu just for the spirit ring. That kind of thing is mindless black. The real Tang San should be the kind of person who can be a good friend or a good brother with him, but he is definitely not a righteous person. And the current Tang Wulin? That is a righteous partner. It's hard to say what will happen in the future, but there is no problem with his character now. Jiang Xiaofeng's current danger level is stuck at 2.9, and he can't move forward any further. It seems that something is missing, which prevents the danger level from being further increased. However, the creation drive, the mechanical creator motorcycle, and the energy bottle are basically completed. It can be said that everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. Chapter 9 Love and Peace. When making the Chuanqi driver, Jiang Xiaofeng had considered whether to load the core program of the Chuanqi system into it. This program has a decisive role in the growth potential of Chuanqi, and this program is also the final work that Shinobu Katsuragi is proud of. He named it Love and Peace. This system can absorb the user's emotions to continuously strengthen himself, constantly surpass himself, and truly exert the power of the Knight system, that is, the idealistic outbreak of Kamen Rider. But if the mind is not in line, it may be restricted everywhere, unable to exert the normal power of the Knight system, or even directly unable to use the Knight system. Only those blood clans from aliens, although they can also use a Chuan key driver, they really do not use the power from the Knight system, but use the Knight system as a trigger to release their own power, so they can exert such a powerful force. Jiang Xiaofeng notes that his current consciousness is not enough to make the Knight system exert its true power. Abandoning this program may make him lose the potential of Chuanqi, but installing it may not even be able to transform, so he hesitated whether to install this core program of love and peace. Jiang Xiaofeng, with his knowledge of the battle rabbit, could naturally choose to dismantle it, but he finally kept it. He still wanted to try whether he could become the Kamen Rider in his heart. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the dragon energy bottle in his hand. This was also a special energy bottle. It was obviously the best match with the lock energy bottle, but the two energy bottles could not reach a balance at all, and one energy bottle could meet the energy needs of the driver transformation. Moreover, Jiang Xiaofeng could feel that this energy bottle seemed to be attracting Naya, just like the rabbit energy bottle was attracting him at that time. What's going on? Is it because Naya's body is the Silver Dragon King? Naya, give this to you. Jiang Xiaofeng said, throwing the dragon energy bottle to Naya. Naya quickly reached out and caught the energy bottle thrown by Jiang Xiaofeng, and then looked at him with a puzzled look. This is a super bracelet. This energy bottle seems to belong to you, and this energy bottle is not very useful to me, so I just give it to you. It may be useful in the future. Jiang Xiaofeng explained. Yes, I understand, brother. Naya nodded with a smile. She had a very happy life in the past 3 years. Both her mother and brother loved her very much. They basically held her in their hands for fear of dropping her, and held her in their mouths for fear of melting her. The only thing that was a little frustrating was that she didn't have martial soul, which made her sad for a long time. She felt so useless. Her mother was a very powerful soul master and could easily support the family. Although her brother was not a soul master, he was also very powerful. He had strange inventions every day, and he didn't need soul power. It was amazing. Only she was useless. She didn't have martial soul, and she wasn't as smart as her brother, and she ate a lot. But she couldn't let her brother and mother know her thoughts. When her mother saw Naya so sad before, she always thought it was her own responsibility. Really, her lack of martial soul had nothing to do with her mother. But Naya was really touched, and her brother was also studying her martial soul problem. Her brother was so smart, he would definitely be able to study it out. In fact, Jiang Xiaofeng was also worried about how to explain her martial soul problem to Naya. After 3 years of getting along, Jiang Xiaofeng really regarded Naya as his family, and he naturally hoped that Naya could live happily. But now Naya always felt inferior because of her martial spirit, which gave Jiang Xiaofeng a headache. How should he tell Naya? Should he tell her, Naya, why don't you have martial spirit? Why do you eat so much more than ordinary people? Why doesn't the Federation have any record of you? Baosheng Eternal Dream. Ugh. Naya, you are the first soul beast in the world. Ahahaha. Naya looked calm. The more I do human, the more I find that humans have limits. Jiang Xiaofeng said in shock. What are you going to say? I don't want to be a human anymore. I want to surpass humans. Ahem. It seems that he thought of something strange. In short, how could he tell her like this? If he said that, it seems that it is not impossible. In short, it is not impossible, as long as the language is organized well. Moreover, Jiang Xiaofeng had also extracted a little blood sample from Naya, and it was indeed clear that she was not human. The DNA sequence in Naya's blood was fundamentally different from that of humans. The science and technology on Daolo continent was very different from that in the previous life. Without the spirit power, their living standards would even remain at the period before the first industrial revolution, and they could not even compare with mechanical technology, not to mention the two major fields of biology and medicine. Medical treatment on Daolo continent was mostly carried out by healing spirit masters, and the research on the human body was mostly on the meridians, and the research on genes was completely blank. Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath. Nana, I think I found the reason why you don't have martial spirit. Nana looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in surprise, expecting Jiang Xiaofeng to solve this problem. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Nana's expectant eyes and took a deep breath. You must keep this a secret and don't tell anyone. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Nana seriously. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng's serious look, Nana also nodded in a serious manner, but with her cute look, she gave people a feeling of being fierce. Do you know why there is no record of you in the Federation? Nana shook her head. According to my research on your DNA sequence is fundamentally different from that of humans. Nana nodded. Although she didn't understand, she always felt that it was very powerful. You are very likely a 100,000-year-old soul beast. But I don't know what happened in the middle, causing you to lose your memory. Jiang Xiaofeng said, while observing Nana's reaction. Nana's mouth opened unconsciously, and her eyes became dull because of shock. And according to my research, you are very likely an extremely powerful soul beast, because many powerful martial spirits cannot be activated through human martial spirit awakening. So, you must not go to some big cities. As long as humans reach the soul download level, they may be able to see your identity. Your identity is too tempting for them. Before you become a soul emperor, don't go to big cities. Nana was completely stunned. After listening to Jiang Xiaofeng's words, many pictures flashed through her mind. Although they were not complete, they all proved that Jiang Xiaofeng's words were right. She might really be a soul beast. Will brother want my spirit ring? Nana's voice was filled with sadness, shock, and a hint of expectation. No, it was almost begging. She was begging her brother not to become like other humans, because of her identity, like the humans in the fragments that flashed through her mind, greedy, selfish, and eager for their spirit rings and spirit bones. Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath. Believe in brother. Brother will definitely let you and your spirit beasts live peacefully with humans. He seemed to see that Nana's thin shoulders carried the hopes of all spirit beasts and the hatred of spirit beasts towards humans. This burden almost crushed her. There was no way. She was the master of spirit beasts, and she carried the hope of the revival of spirit beasts. The master of spirit beasts was not an honor, but a shackle that made Nana almost breathless. Xiao was just an ordinary spirit beast. She could follow tanks into the god realm for her love. Zudi, Shan Mengbingkan, and others were just powerful spirit beasts. They could also sacrifice themselves to Huou Heo in pursuit of immortality. But Nana can't do that. She is the master of soul beasts and the last hope of soul beasts. She can't be willful. She must become cold and have a plan. As Nana's brother, Jiang Xiaofeng can't bear to see Nana being crushed by this burden. He wants to help Nana shoulder this burden. This is his responsibility as a brother. For Nana, he wants to give it a try. No, he must do it, so that humans and soul beasts can live together under the same blue sky. Let this world be filled with love and peace. Danger level 3.0. Chapter 10 Mechanical Creator. With the change of his state of mind, Jiang Xiaofeng's danger level finally reached level 3.0. It seems that to reach the third level of danger level, what is needed is not training, but enlightenment. Similar to Kyuga's almighty form, one needs to be prepared for battle. Except for Hyuga, the non-human, the danger level increases like drinking water. Nana looked at Jiang Xiaofeng's determined expression and couldn't help but stare at him in a daze. For some reason, she could feel that Jiang Xiaofeng was really prepared. Brother. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Nana, and at this moment, he suddenly understood the wishes of those knights who wanted to protect. Wanting to protect the important people of your own, even at the risk of your own life, is probably this feeling. Brother, I want to go to the beach to play tonight. Nana said softly. Jiang Xiaofeng's heart trembled. Is it coming? Although he knew Nana would leave a long time ago, Jiang Xiaofeng still felt reluctant. If someone who has been with you for 3 years suddenly leaves, and the relationship between the two is still very good, it is estimated that everyone will feel reluctant. Yeah. After dinner, Jiang Xiaofeng took Nana out of the house, after getting Jiang Haitang's permission. Nana, let me show you another invention of mine. In Nana's expectant eyes, Jiang Xiaofeng took out a strange looking mobile phone. Well, in this world it should be called a soul guide communicator. Anyway, it is that kind of thing. Jiang Xiaofeng took out a yellow energy bottle, which belonged to the lion. He inserted the energy bottle into the mobile phone, and a lion pattern flashed on the mobile phone. As the start button was pressed, Jiang Xiaofeng threw the mobile phone in his hand. Build change. The mobile phone inserted into the energy bottle began to transform. In Na's surprised eyes, the mobile phone transformed into a motorcycle. The overall color of this motorcycle is red, with a yellow gear at the front of the car, and an enlarged version of the energy bottle on the back seat. The Lion energy bottle. What is this? Machine builder, powered by the Lion energy bottle, does not require soul power consumption, and is equipped with an air injection system, which allows it to run normally on various extreme roads, even on walls. It also, seeing Na's confused look, Jiang Xiaofeng knew that he was talking to a cow. Anyway, this motorcycle is amazing. Let's go. Jiang Xiaofeng pressed a button on the motorcycle, and two helmets instantly appeared from the large energy bottle at the back. Wearing the helmet, Jiang Xiaofeng carried Nana into the car, then set the destination, started the automatic driving mode, and the machine builder drove to the beach by itself. The beach here is not beautiful, but the starry sky is beautiful, because the humans on the Daolo continent use soul power as energy, so there is naturally no air pollution. The starry sky will naturally not be like the Earth in the previous life, which is almost invisible due to the polluted atmosphere. This can be considered a gain and a loss. In the previous life, such a starry sky could only exist in memory. It was not until I came to this Daolo continent that I was able to see the sky full of stars again. Brother, if I go back to the Soul Beast, will you miss me? Nana asked with some sadness. Do you remember? Jiang Xiaofeng asked tentatively. Nana nodded. Yeah. She knew that when she asked this question, she would definitely not be able to hide it from her smart brother. That's great. You will be safe when you go back to the Soul Beast. But you must come back to see me and Mom more often. When you are gone, Mom and I will miss you. Jiang Xiaofeng replied with a smile, but there was a trace of reluctance in his smile. Yeah, I will miss you too, and Mom, especially. Nana opened her big purple eyes and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, and a layer of mist could be seen in her eyes. Jiang Xiaofeng rubbed Nana's head. Believe in brother. Brother will definitely change the world. Nana knew that her brother wanted to change a contradiction that lasted for tens of thousands of years. This statement from a 9-year-old child seemed so ridiculous, but Nana believed it. She believed that her brother, who had been omnipotent since childhood, could definitely do it. HMPH. Ridiculous. Tens of thousands of years of hatred. He, a human brat who can't even practice, wants to resolve it? Why? With his little inventions? A voice sounded in Nana's mind. I believe my brother can do it. Nana responded in her mind, as if she was angry. I admit that his little inventions are indeed amazing, but they are not worth mentioning in the face of absolute power. This kind of thing can't even be done by us at our peak, let alone him. Then let's make a bet. Okay, I'll bet with you. What's the bet? Xiaofeng, I want to save enough money to buy a soul. As soon as he arrived at school the next day, Tang Wulin ran over excitedly to share the good news with Jiang Xiaofeng. After 3 years of getting along, Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin became good friends. After all, Tang Wulin at this time was still quite likable, unlike Tang San, who was just a bitch. Hearing this news, Jiang Xiaofeng frowned and had a dishonest idea. Ahem, he thought of something bad. If he remembered correctly, this 10-year soul was the beginning of his adoptive parents' sacrifice to heaven, because his parents were in a hurry to buy him a 100-year soul, and then he was forced to participate in the experiment of the Soul Pagoda, and finally died in front of Tang Wulin, letting the tragedy in front of him happen. And it was a tragedy that he could prevent. This is not what a Kamen Rider should do. Although Jiang Xiaofeng does not think that he is worthy of the title of Kamen Rider now, if someone needs help within reach, Jiang Xiaofeng will definitely lend a helping hand. He remembered that Tang Wulin only saved up 30,000 federal coins and could only buy random souls and could not even afford a 10-year soul. His adoptive parents participated in the experiment of the Soul Pagoda in order to buy it for Tang Wulin. So all you need to do is to collect 1 million federal coins and lend it to Tang Wulin. If this matter were replaced by someone else, it would not be so easy to handle. Maybe you have to go back and ask his mother for help. You know, 1 million federal coins is not a small amount of money. Although Jiang Xiaofeng can afford it, it is not easy at all. But Jiang Xiaofeng was bored during these 3 years and made a lot of level 4 and 5 soul guides. He made a lot of money by selling a few of them. Therefore, during these 3 years, Jiang Xiaofeng's family's expenses were almost zero. Jiang Xiaofeng only needed to buy some metals, and Jiang Xiaofeng could make all kinds of household soul guides, and they were better than those on the market. Coming back to his senses, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and congratulated Tang Wulin. Sure, you can become a master craftsman in the future. You must protect me. Being praised by Jiang Xiaofeng, Tang Wulin scratched his head a little embarrassedly. Oh, master craftsman, that's too exaggerated. I'm satisfied to be a level 5 or 6 forger. By the way, keep these things. If you don't have enough money, you can sell them to him. Jiang Xiaofeng took out a few small balls from behind. No, my father said that we can't take other people's things. Tang Wulin waved his hands and refused. Although he was young and couldn't recognize what it was, he could tell from his experience as a blacksmith that these balls were definitely good stuff. Jiang Xiaofeng patted Tang Wulin on the shoulder. It's okay. I'm lending it to you. Just return it to me if you don't use it. If you do use it, you can return it to me later. But Tang Wulin wanted to say something else. It's okay. I've heard about your talent in blacksmithing. If nothing goes wrong, you will definitely be a level 5 or 6 blacksmith. By then, people will rush to give you money every day. Are you afraid that you can't pay me back? Tang Wulin still felt something was wrong, but under Jiang Xiaofeng's verbal attack, Tang Wulin still accepted it. Seeing Tang Wulin accept the 3 soul guides, Jiang Xiaofeng secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This way, there was basically no problem. Even if Tang Ziran and his wife wanted to pay back the money in the future, they didn't need to rush to participate in the experiment of the spirit transmission tower. Although those soul guides can be made easily, they successfully saved a family. I just don't know how many families like this there are. In the end, it is still because of the series of political systems on the Daoluo continent that are not good. It is estimated that many civilian geniuses will never succeed because of economic problems. Can I change all this? Chapter 11 Nada is gone. Jiang Xiaofeng has observed the political system of this world. Their political system is somewhat similar to that of capitalism, but it is not completely capitalism, because there is a supreme existence that is above capital, that is, high-level soul masters. In this era, it is more difficult for civilian soul masters to rise than 20,000 years ago. In the past, if civilian soul masters were lucky enough to mutate into a powerful martial soul, they could try their luck in the Xingdao Great Forest and maybe pick up a million-year soul ring. Now that the soul system has become popular, soul masters can only go to the soul pagoda to buy souls if they want to obtain soul rings. If they don't have money, they can't buy good souls. If they don't have good souls, they can't become strong. If they can't become strong, they can't have money. In this way, a vicious cycle is formed. To break this situation, even if the cost of souls is reduced, it will be of little use, because the soul pagoda is like a capitalist in the previous life. For the sake of profit, they can't reduce the price, unless the soul ring system is completely subverted, so that soul masters no longer need soul rings to practice. Not only will civilian soul masters have more opportunities, but the contradiction between humans and soul beasts will also have the possibility of easing. However, these are not what Jiang Xiaofeng can consider now, because this involves things like plane laws, which have surpassed the general laws of physics. If Jiang Xiaofeng wants to change all this, he must at least create the genius form first. Not to mention the many restrictions on the character of the genius form, the danger level must reach 6.0, otherwise whoever uses it will die. This setting is enough to discourage Jiang Xiaofeng now. He can only do it step by step. In this way, all day today, Tang Wulin tried to study what the several soul guides Jiang Xiaofeng gave him were. As a result, Tang Wulin didn't figure out anything until school was over. After school, Jiang Xiaofeng returned home a little nervous. He probably guessed what he was going to face, but he still had a glimmer of hope. Maybe Naya decided not to leave at the last minute? Or did Naya decide to stay a few more days before leaving? With a nervous and expectant mood, Jiang Xiaofeng knocked on the door of his house. The door opened, and it was no longer Naya's surprised face that came out of the door, but Jiang Haitang with an anxious face. Xiaofeng, Naya is gone. She was at home just now, but she disappeared in the blink of an eye. And you said you knew where she went. Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath. It's okay, you knew this day would come. You had guessed that Naya was gone on the way, not to mention that she would come back in the future. After hinting several times in a row, Jiang Xiaofeng slowly suppressed his thoughts. I roughly guessed where Naya went, but Naya's identity needs to be kept secret, otherwise Naya might be in danger. Jiang Haitang nodded. Well, being able to take Naya away without me noticing shows that Naya's family is definitely not an ordinary family. Nonsense. If you can feel it, the beast wouldn't have to mess around. Jiang Xiaofeng complained in his heart. Okay, don't be too sad. Naya must be living better in her own home than in ours. You know where her home is. Maybe you can go find her in the future. Jiang Haitang saw that Jiang Xiaofeng was in a bad mood and comforted him. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded and returned to his and Naya's room. He saw a note at a glance. Jiang Xiaofeng took the note and looked at it. It was left by Naya. Mom, brother, I'm leaving. Thank you for taking care of me, but I know who I am, and my family has come to find me. Brother should have guessed where my home is. Please don't tell mom, otherwise mom might be in danger. I'm really happy when I'm with you. Brother, I will never forget the way you beat the bad guys away, and I will never forget the way you concentrated on making inventions. Whenever I see the happy smile on your face when your little invention is completed, I will unconsciously laugh along with you. I believe that brother will become the most powerful soul mentor in the world, even if he can't practice. I also believe that your dream will come true. Naya. Looking at the note left by Naya, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled softly, shook his head and said, this silly girl. Gently putting the note down, Jiang Xiaofeng turned around and stretched, then walked to his laboratory table. Okay, since I promised Naya, from now on, let's get started. Since his danger level has reached 3.0, the night system can be officially used, and various best matching weapons will also be put on the agenda. Well, first of all, the initial form of the creation rider, the weapon in the form of a rabbit tank, the drill crusher. A few days later, Tang Wulin's adoptive parents came to thank him in person, and said that they would definitely pay him back. Jiang Haitang was shocked at the time, but when he heard that it was Jiang Xiaofeng who lent him the soul guide, he didn't say much. After all, it was made by Xiaofeng himself, and he had the right to use it. However, he still had to declare to the outside world that he agreed to lend it out, saying that it was because Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin were so close, and Tang Wulin liked this kid very much, not to mention that he could easily afford a 100-year soul. Tang Zeran and his wife saw the pile of luxurious soul guide furniture in Jiang Haitang's house and nodded in agreement, but he was a little puzzled. Wouldn't it be enough to borrow money directly from a credit card? Why borrow a soul guide directly? However, Tang Zeran didn't ask this question and repeatedly told Tang Wulin not to forget his friend Jiang Xiaofeng. Tang Wulin naturally nodded obediently. Jiang Xiaofeng saw the happy look of Tang Wulin's family, and somehow, he suddenly laughed happily. In the past few days, Jiang Xiaofeng also completed 5 sets of best matching weapons, the drill crusher in the form of a rabbit tank, the Hawk Gatlinger in the form of a Hawk Gatling, the 4-Komen in Pao Tao in the form of a ninja manga, the Keizoku Hasire in the form of a pirate train, and the Sea Cannon in the form of a whale jet created by Jiang Xiaofeng. Goodbye, Mom. Jiang Xiaofeng waved to Jiang Haitang, and then boarded the train with Tang Wulin. He was about to enter the East China Sea Soul Master Academy with Tang Wulin. Logically, Jiang Xiaofeng didn't even have a ring, so he couldn't come here to study, but Jiang Haitang used some connections to send Jiang Xiaofeng in. Jiang Haitang also specifically told Jiang Xiaofeng that in this academy, he could show some talent in soul guides, so that he could develop better in the future. However, the talent that is revealed must be controlled well. As the saying goes, being half a step ahead of the world is a genius, and being one step ahead of the world is a madman. If you are too far ahead, Jiang Xiaofeng may be in danger. Sitting on the Soul Guide train, Tang Wulin looked at the surrounding environment very excitedly. Because of Jiang Xiaofeng, Tang Wulin had not experienced the separation of Naya, nor had he experienced the blow of the garbage soul spirit. Therefore, except for being a little scared when he was separated from his parents at the beginning, Tang Wulin was basically very excited the rest of the time. In fact, after Tang Wulin merged with the 100-year soul spirit, he was so happy that he didn't sleep well for a few days. He often stared at his 100-year soul ring and smiled foolishly. Tang Ziran almost thought that this young man had a brain problem. Because the train would not arrive at the station for several hours, Jiang Xiaofeng squinted his eyes and began to sleep after setting the alarm. About 2 hours later, the train suddenly shook and then began to slow down slowly. Jiang Xiaofeng seemed to be stimulated by something and suddenly opened his eyes. He looked at the time on his mobile phone. Strange. It should be half an hour away. Why did it stop now? And the surroundings are barren and wild. It doesn't look like we have arrived at the station. Something is wrong. Jiang Xiaofeng began to be alert. Suddenly, 2 small bottles rolled into the middle of the carriage from nowhere, and then gas began to come out of the bottles. Not good. Chapter 12. Full Metal Lunar Counterattack. When a genius scientist has a 4-dimensional chrysanthemum, you never know what he can pull out from behind. For example, Jiang Xiaofeng now took out a gas mask with built-in optical stealth effect and put it on his head. It can automatically filter unknown gases in the air, and it is convenient and comfortable. It is indeed a must-have for home travel. The people in the whole carriage fainted after smelling the gas. Although Jiang Xiaofeng was not affected, after putting on the mask, he immediately closed his eyes and pretended to be unconscious. At the same time, he quietly released several micro-robots. Several micro-robots began to fly around the train like mosquitoes and continuously released weak electromagnetic waves to detect the location of unknown enemies around the train. Several people walked around and began to check one by one to see if anyone was still awake. Is it an evil soul master or a simple terrorist? But I remember that in the original book, Tang Wulin had no accidents on his way to Donghae City. Could it be his own butterfly effect, such as the train was one train earlier or one train later? Or was it a series of butterfly effects caused by Tang Ziran not participating in that project? Combined with Tang Wulin's train killer physique, it finally caused this attack. Good guy, he is comparable to Dagu, Xinsheng and others. Fian number 1, don't come over. JPG, Jiang Xiaofeng did not act rashly. Everyone on the train was here. If he was not careful, he would be captured by these terrorists as hostages. Soon, the feedback from the small robot came. Jiang Xiaofeng opened his eyes slightly, and what appeared in front of him was the distribution of terrorists on the entire train. Most of them were soul masters of level 30 or 40, and there were people in every train, and they all held a soul guide rifle in their hands. They were seen talking there. Are all of them unconscious? Yes, all unconscious. But why do the higher-ups want to capture so many people? Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. It's not good for you to know. Is it from the Spirit Pagoda? Or is it from the Holy Spirit Church? There was too little information to judge, but seeing that they were all holding soul guide guns, their strength should not be too high, but they had to be transferred from the carriage. Soon, a plan gradually took shape in Jiang Xiaofeng's mind. Just as they were about to start taking the passengers away one by one, a childish voice suddenly rang out. Stop. Fuck, a kind of plant. Forget this non-human. Tang Wulin has the blood of the Golden Dragon King. This toxin that causes coma may not be effective on Tang Wulin. At this time, Tang Wulin was still in the stage of being a newborn calf who was not afraid of tigers. What enemy is more than us? What strength disparity? He didn't consider at all when something happened. Just Ali give it. This also disrupted Jiang Xiaofeng's plan. Tang Wulin released his blue-silver grass martial spirit, his pupils emitting golden light, and rushed up with an indomitable momentum. His whole body exuded the tyrannical aura of the Golden Dragon King, as if announcing his arrival to the world. Pa. A big slap on the opposite side. Tang Wulin gave it for nothing. Good guy. You saved your life. JPG. If you were not the grandson of the plane, you would have died. Seeing that the soul rifle was already pointed at Tang Wulin, Jiang Xiaofeng sighed. Forget it, I'll do it myself. Build driver. A yellow belt automatically extended from the driver and buckled the driver around Jiang Xiaofeng's waist. The people who hijacked the train looked at the place where the sound came from in confusion. Jiang Xiaofeng stood up, took out 2 energy bottles, one red and one blue, from behind and began to shake them continuously. As the ingredients in the energy bottles shook up and down, a large number of physical formulas appeared out of thin air from behind Jiang Xiaofeng and slowly floated forward. The criminals looked at the characters floating around in doubt. Obviously, they didn't know what it was. After shaking for a while, Jiang Xiaofeng stopped, looked at the criminals and smiled. Go. Start the experiment, and then turned the caps of the 2 energy bottles and inserted them into the driver. Rabbit tank best match. Jiang Xiaofeng grabbed the joystick on the driver and started to turn it. As the joystick turned, glass pipes began to extend from the core module of the driver, which was the huge gear part. These glass pipes formed a frame around Jiang Xiaofeng, covering him inside, and formed a red and a blue half-body armor in front and behind him. No, shoot. Although the leading gangster didn't know what it was, he instinctively felt that it was not good, so he must not let the child in front of him continue. However, the soul guide ray hit the glass frame without any reaction, even in the place where there was no glass frame, as if it was blocked by some invisible force. Are you ready? Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath. Henshin, transformation. The front and back frames instantly closed in the middle, and the front and back red and blue armors also instantly merged into one, covering Jiang Xiaofeng in the armor. PS. Transformation increases height. The magic DJ sounded. Steel moon face cosmic anti-rabbit tank form. Yeah. As the sound effect ended, the frame around Jiang Xiaofeng also disappeared without a trace, as if it had never appeared. Tang Wulin reluctantly opened his eyes. Red and blue armor? The armor in front of him was red and blue. There was a spring on the red right leg, and the left foot seemed to have a track. The eyes were a red and a blue compound eye, which looked very strange. But for some reason, as I looked at it, I felt that this armor was quite handsome. Jiang Xiaofeng raised his index and middle fingers on his right hand and gently rubbed the right tank ear. The law of victory has been decided. Then he exerted force on his left leg. The spring on his left calf began to squeeze, and then suddenly bounced up, driving Jiang Xiaofeng to jump forward. Not good. The leading soul master felt a strong threat and quickly released his martial spirit. A pair of wings appeared on his back in an instant, and the wings crossed in front of him. It was a bird-type martial spirit. After Jiang Xiaofeng jumped up, he stretched out his left foot, and the track on his left foot began to rotate. He kicked the gangster's wings heavily, and then kicked the gangster directly out of the car, and landed on the wilderness outside the car. Jiang Xiaofeng then took out the rabbit energy bottle, and took out a pink energy bottle. Octopus, turn the joystick. Build up. The red rabbit armor was instantly replaced by a pink octopus. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the positions of all the gangsters on the stereoscopic projection display inside the helmet, and with a flick of his left shoulder, several pink octopus tentacles stretched out, penetrated each carriage, and accurately tied up each gangster. After confirming that each gangster was tied up, Jiang Xiaofeng flicked his left shoulder again, and the tentacles pulled them all out of the carriage and threw them in front of Jiang Xiaofeng. Tang Wulin recovered a little strength and quickly got up and ran out of the carriage. The appearance of the armor can be changed, and the ability has also changed. Is this a battle armor? Fuck, this is a tricky idea. Everyone come together. The leading gangster looked at Jiang Xiaofeng viciously. The gangsters roared, and their martial spirits were instantly activated, and the spirit rings also rose from under their feet instantly. They were generally 4-ring soul patriarchs, and the leader was a 5-ring soul king. As all the other team members released their martial spirits, the night system began to continuously analyze their energy data and determine their energy attributes. Well, the energy is determined to be all evil spirit masters, so we can let go. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the data panel and said to himself, since you have more people, let's use this. As he said that, Jiang Xiaofeng pulled out his 2 energy bottles and took out 2 new energy bottles, 1 purple and 1 yellow. Ninja, ninja, comic, comic, best match, are you ready? Build up. Ninja entertainment nin comic, ninja comic form, yeah. 2 glass tubes extended from the driver and gathered in the air to form a strange shaped weapon, the 4-grid ninja sword. Tang Wulin, who was hiding at the entrance of the carriage, exclaimed again, it has changed again. And this time there is a weapon. Jiang Xiaofeng pressed the button on the handle of the knife. Clone technique 6 streams of smoke appeared around him instantly, just like the ones in comic books. The smoke boomed, it was a real boom, and even the smoke said, boom! Exclamation mark. They all turned into the same build as Jiang Xiaofeng and rushed towards each evil soul master. Chapter 13 East Sea College. Amazing. You can even clone yourself. Tang Wulin exclaimed on the side. Each clone seemed to have its own consciousness and slashed at the evil soul masters at a very high speed, so fast that they had almost no room to react. When Jiang Xiaofeng took back his clones, several evil soul masters had already fallen to the ground, and there were fatal knife wounds on their chests. I don't know why, although it was his first time killing people, Jiang Xiaofeng didn't feel too uncomfortable when killing these people. Maybe it was because he knew that these people had too much blood of civilians on their hands. But there were a few people who could withstand this set of continuous slashes. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng retract his clones, they immediately attacked him. Flames, water, and feather knives came one after another. Jiang Xiaofeng watched these attacks calmly, and at the same time, his brain was calculating at a high speed with the help of the night system. At the moment, when several long-range attacks were about to hit him, he pressed the button 3 times in a row. Wind escape technique. A strong hurricane instantly covered the blade. Tornado slash Jiang Xiaofeng slashed with his sword, and the hurricane broke away from the blade, instantly forming a tornado in front of Jiang Xiaofeng, sweeping all the attacks inside. He turned around and slashed with his sword again, and the tornado carried their attacks towards the evil soul master. Not good. The evil soul masters hurriedly dodged to both sides, but Jiang Xiaofeng had already roughly calculated the direction of their dodging. Fire escape technique flame slash the 4-grid ninja sword was covered in flames. Jiang Xiaofeng swung the sword several times, carrying the energy of the flame and instantly slashing at the evil soul master who had not yet recovered. Suddenly, above the flames, a figure soared into the sky and circled around Jiang Xiaofeng. You are not the only one who can fly. Taka, Flying Eagle, Gatling, best match, are you ready? Build up. Skyriter Hawk Gatling, yeah damn, what's wrong with his battle armor? Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng change his form again, the remaining evil soul master gnashed his teeth. Jiang Xiaofeng stretched out his hand, and the eagle Gatling gun fell into his hand. The wings behind him instantly grew larger. With the wings flapping, Jiang Xiaofeng instantly took off into the air and began to chase the evil soul master. The evil soul master picked up the soul guide ray gun in his hand and began to shoot at Jiang Xiaofeng continuously. Jiang Xiaofeng also raised his Gatling gun to shoot. However, what made the evil soul master desperate was that Jiang Xiaofeng did not shoot simple energy bullets, but one after another miniature flying eagles made of energy. After all, he was a 5-ring soul king, so he still had some vision. If it was just like this, he would not be so desperate. But the problem is that each flying eagle seemed to have its own thoughts. They accurately hit every energy ray he shot. After offsetting the energy of the soul guide ray, they flew towards him again without stopping, still tracking. Fortunately, he was a soul master at the soul king level, so he barely blocked this wave of attacks, but after blocking this round of attacks, he was also seriously injured. Next, it's time to give you the last blow. Jiang Xiaofeng began to turn the wheel on the gun continuously. Every time the wheel was turned, the sound of counting came from the eagle Gatling gun. 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. As the counting ended, a spherical field composed of spherical curves imprisoned the evil soul master inside. Full bullet. Full bullet. Jiang Xiaofeng raised the eagle Gatling gun that had been fully charged and began to shoot at him. A full 100 bullets instantly pierced the evil soul master's body, and his body fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Jiang Xiaofeng landed steadily on the ground, and the evil soul master's pierced body also fell behind him. After standing for 10 seconds, Jiang Xiaofeng still didn't move. Why didn't it explode? I've got my pose ready. No, it doesn't seem to be a weirdo. It didn't explode. Jiang Xiaofeng looked back, then reacted, and then pretended to be calm, and cancelled the transformation. Ahem. As long as I'm not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. As Jiang Xiaofeng cancelled the transformation, Tang Wulin, who was watching the battle, almost popped his eyes out. Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and shook the driver in front of Tang Wulin. I made it myself. The creation rider system. Kamen Rider creation rider, which means creation and formation. Isn't it amazing? Tang Wulin nodded stupidly. Obviously he still couldn't accept all this, although he also knew that Jiang Xiaofeng would have some strange little inventions from time to time, although simple, but very practical. But this armor is too sci-fi. Well, although there may be no concept of science fiction on Daolo continent, anyway, it's just like that. I'm telling you, this is my little secret. I haven't even told my mom about this. Don't tell anyone else. Well, I know. Tang Wulin said with a firm face. Don't say. Tang Wulin's expression is quite cute. If this happened in his previous life, maybe someone would really be willing to fencing with him. Suddenly, Tang Wulin seemed to have thought of something, and his face fell. Oh no, the train is not leaving. We may not be able to catch up with the school registration time. Don't worry, watch me. Jiang Xiaofeng took out his mobile phone, inserted the energy bottle, and threw the mobile phone forward. Build changed. Wow. Tang Wulin was shocked by the motorcycle that suddenly appeared in front of him. Get on board. Just like that, Tang Wulin sat on Jiang Xiaofeng's motorcycle with a confused face. Looking at this motorcycle that can drive automatically and is many times faster than ordinary motorcycles, Tang Wulin fell into deep thought. Xiaofeng, how many forms does the armor you just used have? Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a moment. Not many, only 900. Did you hear what people said? 900 forms are not enough. Why don't you fly to the sky? Oh no, it seems that he can really fly to the sky. At the entrance of Donghae College, a strange motorcycle drove over. Why is it strange? First of all, its shape is extremely strange. If it were just these, it would be nothing, but there are only 2 9-year-old children sitting on this motorcycle, and no one is driving this motorcycle. This is new. The people who came were naturally Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin. After Jiang Xiaofeng drove the motorcycle to a deserted place, the two got off the motorcycle. The motorcycle instantly turned back into a mobile phone. Looking at Tang Wulin's dazed look, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. Let's go. It's time to report. In about 10 minutes, Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin completed the report. Because Jiang Xiaofeng never broke through the 10th level, he was naturally assigned to class 5. After all, although Jiang Haitang had connections, he was not powerful enough to put Jiang Xiaofeng in the key class. Their dormitory was also assigned together, that is, dormitory 205. They came earlier than in the original book, and there was no one in the dormitory, so they began to make their own beds and clean the dormitory. When they finished cleaning, another person came to the dormitory. Unlike the original book, because of Jiang Xiaofeng's butterfly effect, there were only 3 people in Jiang Xiaofeng's dormitory. The other 2 extras did not come, leaving a bed empty. This person looked quite aloof. Jiang Xiaofeng glanced at him. If nothing unexpected happened, this person was most likely Zizi. At this time, Zizi still liked to show off, but he was always slapped in the face, which was a bit embarrassing. He couldn't compare with a certain thief who smuggled everything. Since the 3 of them were roommates after all, the 3 of them still introduced their names to each other and got to know each other. At lunchtime, Tang Wulin's appetite naturally shocked the students of the whole grade, while Jiang Xiaofeng was used to Na's appetite, so he was not surprised. In the afternoon, Tang Wulin went to the Blacksmith Association for an assessment. Because Jiang Xiaofeng showed him his knight's system, Tang Wulin was embarrassed to hide the matter of his blacksmith assessment, so he simply told Jiang Xiaofeng openly. ZZ stayed in the dormitory to practice. Jiang Xiaofeng had nothing to do. After all, he couldn't practice, so he just wandered around the school. ZZ saw Jiang Xiaofeng doing nothing, and there was a hint of disdain in his eyes when he looked at Jiang Xiaofeng. Chapter 14, Wu Changkang. The next morning, the opening ceremony began. The opening ceremony was a bit boring. The dean just said some hellos and hellos to everyone. It was so cliché that Jiang Xiaofeng could memorize it after listening to it once. It would be more meaningful to do some research with this time. After more than an hour, the opening ceremony finally ended. Then the head teachers of each class took the new students back to their classes. Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin were both in class 5, so Wu Changkang was naturally their head teacher. Seeing the legendary Wu Changkang, Jiang Xiaofeng always felt weird. His hairstyle, well, if it was placed in a two-dimensional anime, combined with his appearance, it would definitely be very handsome, even if it was placed in reality now. But this kind of long hair in reality, well, Jiang Xiaofeng always felt a little non-mainstream, probably because he was used to it in his previous life. In his previous life, the Xia kingdom had hair at most at the eyebrows. Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't appreciate it like this kind of shawl. But the hairstyle here in Daolo continent seems to be quite open. As long as your appearance can handle it, any hairstyle is fine. Soon, Wu Changkang brought them to the classroom. Take your seats. Every student shuddered after hearing his words, even Tang Wulin, who had the most abnormal physical fitness. Although Jiang Xiaofeng's danger level had reached 3.0 and his physical fitness had begun to surpass that of ordinary people, he was still not comparable to Tang Wulin, so he shuddered. Is this the power of the Soul Emperor? Jiang Xiaofeng thought secretly in his heart, if I use the Knight system, I should not be able to defeat him in a head-on confrontation. But if I can give full play to the diverse combat styles of the Creation Knight and increase the danger level, I may not be unable to fight him. Following Wu Changkang's instructions, all the students in the class began to take their seats. Jiang Xiaofeng was of medium height and sat in the middle, while Tang Wulin was a little tall, so in order to sit in the front row, he chose a seat at the edge, and ZZ also chose a seat in the middle. My name is Wu Changkang. For the next 6 years, you will all be my students. Wu Changkang introduced himself lightly. First of all, I want to emphasize that what Director Long Hengsu said just now is just nonsense. Even if you are all useless, and even if some of you got in through connections, I will definitely make you the strongest among your peers. Unless you drop out of school, this is your goal for the next 6 years. Jiang Xiaofeng silently complained in his heart, you taught for less than a year, and then went to teach class 0. After less than 3 years, you went directly to Shrek. You still have the nerve to say 6 years. A piece of chalk flew over, and Jiang Xiaofeng was startled. He quickly dodged to the side and barely avoided the chalk. Stand up. Do you have any questions? Wu Changkang looked at Jiang Xiaofeng coldly, and asked in a cold tone. No problem. No problem. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly stood up, and waved his hand. Sit down, and don't let me see you slacking off next time. Jiang Xiaofeng was relieved, and sat down again. Wu Changkang took a deep look at Jiang Xiaofeng, and silently remembered Jiang Xiaofeng in his heart. This relative may not be as simple as he seems. The chalk he just threw is not something that everyone can avoid, at least not the kids in front of him, and it is impossible for him to miss the target. Let's start introducing ourselves. Name, martial spirit, soul power level, and what kind of soul master you want to be. Let's start. Tang Wulin sat at the edge, so he was naturally the first one. Tang Wulin, martial spirit blue silver grass, level 12. The goal is. Tang Wulin thought for a while, I don't have a goal yet. PS, because of the 100-year soul, Tang Wulin's soul power level is 1 level higher than the original. Useless martial spirit, of course there is no goal. Ugh. A chalk head was thrown into his mouth accurately. This chalk head was naturally thrown by Wu Changkang. Looking at the students retching in their seats, Wu Changkang snorted coldly, "In this world, there are no useless martial spirits, only useless people. Before calling others useless, think about what you are." Useless martial spirit. Yu Xiaogang gave a thumbs up and said to look at me more. Continue. ZZ, Spirit Light Dragon Dagger, Spirit Level 18, Agile Attack System Combat Spirit Master. ZZ's Spirit Level 18 naturally caused the whole class to be amazed. After all, the others generally had spirit levels of 11. For someone like Tang Wulin, who had 100-year spirit, spirit level 12 was already a good accomplishment. Jiang Xiaofeng, Spirit Box, Spirit Level 9, goal, to become the most powerful spirit master in the world. The spirit level 9 and the arrogant tone almost caused a burst of laughter in the class, but because of the oppression brought by Wu Changkang, no one could laugh. Wu Changkang did not react at all, but looked thoughtful. In this way, Jiang Xiaofeng replaced Tang Wulin's position as the worst in the class. After all, no matter how bad his spirit was, it was better than someone without even a spirit ring. The class will start tomorrow. My class is different from other teachers. If you are afraid of hardship, tiredness, or pain, you can transfer to another school or class as soon as possible. Class dismissed. After saying these words, Wu Changkang left the classroom, and the class burst into laughter. Haha, it's so funny. You are not even a soul master yet, but you want to become a soul mentor. And the strongest? I'm dying of laughter. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't react much, but Tang Wulin was so angry that he stood up first. What are you laughing at? He is so powerful, you are not allowed to laugh. In Tang Wulin's eyes, Jiang Xiaofeng has always taken care of him like an older brother. First, when he first came to the Soul Master Academy and was laughed at, only Jiang Xiaofeng spoke for him. It was also because of Jiang Xiaofeng that he was able to buy a 100-year soul and officially embark on the path of a Soul Master. It can be said that Tang Wulin is almost in the shape of Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng walked over and patted Tang Wulin on the shoulder. "It's okay. Let's go." As he said that, he pulled Tang Wulin out of the classroom. But Tang Wulin, who was dragged out of the classroom, wanted to say something. You know, pretending to be awesome and then getting slapped in the face is the most old-fashioned and most vicious plot. It's meaningless. Let's go. I have important things to do. Tang Wulin nodded in confusion and was dragged back to the dormitory by Jiang Xiaofeng. As soon as Jiang Xiaofeng arrived at the dormitory, he kept taking out all kinds of strange things from behind, and some of them were ridiculously large. No one knew how Jiang Xiaofeng carried them with him. Looking at Jiang Xiaofeng, who was busy here, Tang Wulin asked blankly, "Xiaofeng, what are you doing?" Jiang Xiaofeng waved his hand. "I want to build something. I had this idea since yesterday afternoon. I may need your help later." Before long, a simple experimental table was set up. "What are you going to do?" Tang Wulin couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. "Remember the group of people from yesterday?" Tang Wulin nodded. "I remember. They are evil soul masters. They usually practice in various cruel ways such as using human lives, flesh and blood. In short, they are guys who don't deserve to die." Tang Wulin couldn't help but widen his eyes. It was the first time he heard of such soul masters and such evil practice methods, and Jiang Xiaofeng was still explaining to himself. Ordinary people will be powerless to fight back when they encounter evil spirit masters, and it is difficult for law enforcement forces to arrive. You can imagine how desperate they will be. At this time, a righteous hero is needed to save them. My night system records the waveform of the evil spirit master's soul power fluctuations. If I can find the unique and common fluctuations of evil spirit masters from it, then I can create a monitoring device for this fluctuation. Within the scope of Donghae City, as long as an evil spirit master leaks soul power fluctuations, then this device can instantly locate his position, and then continue to track them. Tang Wulin nodded in confusion. He knew what every word Jiang Xiaofeng said meant, but he didn't understand what it meant when they were put together. He just knew that he could find the evil spirit master. At this moment, Tang Wulin suddenly felt like he was saving the world. His middle school, no, it was the soul of justice that began to burn. "Okay, I know. I will definitely help you with all my strength." Tang Wulin patted his chest and promised, "P.S. Let me show you a magic trick. Click on the monthly ticket in the lower left corner, then select monthly ticket or recommendation ticket, and then click on vote. You will find that your recommendation votes and monthly tickets will be instantly cleared. How awesome am I? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15. Sir, times have changed. Jiang Xiaofeng turned on his special computer and pressed the enter key. A dozen windows opened instantly, showing the frequency of the evil spirit master's soul power fluctuations at every time point. After releasing his martial spirit, there were frequencies when releasing soul skills and frequencies at the moment of release, which made Tang Wulin's eyes dazzled. But there is nothing for you to do now. The first thing I have to do is to identify the common frequencies of these evil spirit masters. You go and do your work first. I will call you when I need you. Tang Wulin looked around and found that he really had nothing to do. He didn't know what these instruments were for, let alone help. It was good enough not to cause trouble. Realizing this, Tang Wulin could only return to his bed, depressed, and start practicing. Suddenly, the dormitory became quiet, and the only sound echoing in the dormitory was the sound of Jiang Xiaofeng constantly tapping the keyboard. After a while, the dormitory door opened, and a person walked in. He was stunned when he saw the mess in the dormitory, and then his pupils shrank. The person who came was naturally Zizi. After all, he was a child of an aristocratic family. He was still a bit perceptive, and could see the extraordinariness of these devices. Jiang Xiaofeng, who was analyzing the recorded data, glanced at him and said nothing, but continued to analyze the data he had obtained. According to Jiang Xiaofeng's understanding, Zizi's character was still good. At least he would not tell everything to others, so there was no need to worry too much about whether he would leak secrets. In the original book, he did not tell Tang Wulin about the dragon scales on his body before Tang Wulin agreed. What's more, Jiang Xiaofeng also needed Zizi's help later. It would be easy to explain if he revealed the truth in advance. Otherwise, he didn't think Zizi would help him. Zizi walked behind Jiang Xiaofeng and looked at the data flashing on Jiang Xiaofeng's computer. Although he couldn't understand it, the difference between him and Tang Wulin was that he knew how profound the things in front of him were. It's like those who read less can only say, wow. And those who read more will use professional terms to explain why he said wow and where the wow is. TSK, the data is still not enough. There is no way to distinguish the evil spirit from the ordinary spirit. There may be fluctuations common to ordinary spirits. Jiang Xiaofeng scratched his head and frowned as he muttered to himself. Zizi also looked at it for a long time, but he didn't understand what it was. He only knew that the information in it was very powerful, but he didn't know how powerful it was. But there is one thing he can be sure of, the things in it are definitely not something their family can eat. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng turned around and looked straight at Zizi without saying anything, just staring at him. What are you doing? Zizi was a little scared by Jiang Xiaofeng's stare. After all, he had read Jiang Xiaofeng's research for so long without Jiang Xiaofeng's consent. Although he didn't see anything, he still read it, right? Nice. A good start. You have been watching here? Jiang Xiaofeng's voice seemed a little low, as if he was suppressing his extremely angry emotions. Zizi couldn't help swallowing his saliva and nodded. Don't worry, I will never tell anyone, I swear. As soon as he said this, Zizi himself felt that his credibility was not high. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng's distrustful expression, he became even more panicked. Although he is now more proud, he is still just a child after all, and he has not even formed a fixed value system. It's okay when he encounters small things, but he will naturally panic when he encounters such a big thing that he thinks. What's more, he feels that he is in the wrong about this matter. Why don't you tell me what you want me to compensate you for, as long as I can do it? Zizi couldn't stand Jiang Xiaofeng's distrustful eyes, and immediately added another sentence. The plan works. Just be my worker. Jiang Xiaofeng pondered for a while, and finally nodded in Zizi's expectant eyes. Okay, I have 2 things I need you to do for me. Okay, you tell me. As long as I can do it, I will definitely help you. Zizi quickly agreed, fearing that Jiang Xiaofeng would regret it the next second. Well, release your martial spirit, and follow my instructions. Jiang Xiaofeng took out a strange device from behind. Is this the first thing? Zizi was a little surprised. He had no idea what Jiang Xiaofeng meant by doing this. Yes, let's start now. Release your martial spirit. As Jiang Xiaofeng gave the order, Zizi also released his martial spirit, the light dragon dagger. The instrument in Jiang Xiaofeng's hand began to make a beep beep sound, and the curve on the panel began to fluctuate. Okay, release your soul skill. Zizi slashed the light dragon dagger into the air. The first soul skill, the light dragon blade. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the curves that suddenly changed on the panel and nodded. Okay, the first thing is done. Zizi's eyes widened in disbelief. Is it done now? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Zizi as if he was a fool. Otherwise, you only have that one soul skill. What else can you test? At this time, no matter how stupid Zizi was, he reacted. You did it on purpose from the beginning, right? You just want to record the things on your computer. Zizi didn't know what those curves were, so he could only point to those curves on Jiang Xiaofeng's computer. Yes. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded openly. No. If you want to test these things, why don't you just tell me directly? Why are you going around in so many circles? Zizi asked in confusion. He always felt that Jiang Xiaofeng was looking down on his IQ by going around in such a big circle. For the first time, he felt a crushing of his IQ. If I tell you directly, will you do it? Well, he really won't. Unconsciously, Zizi has already recognized his roommate in his heart. His coldness and arrogance are more of a disguise, which will only be removed in front of his friends. Jiang Xiaofeng woke up Tang Wulin again and asked him to release his blue silver grass spirit and his first soul skill. Looking at the 2 newly collected data, Jiang Xiaofeng nodded with satisfaction, but only 2 were not enough. Zizi, here is the second thing. Go to the school and challenge anyone. Just let him release his spirit and soul skill. This afternoon, a mysterious campus legend began to spread in Danhe City. When you walk alone on the campus, a mysterious ghost will suddenly attack you. His speed is as fast as a ghost, and you can't see his appearance at all. When you release your spirit and use soul skills, there will be a strange dripping sound around, and the ghost will disappear. Tang Wulin and Zizi were watching intently, and they saw that the data they had just collected was analyzed one by one, and the frequencies shared by each spirit were screened out, and then compared with the frequencies shared by the evil spirit master's spirits, and the frequency bands shared by all spirits were further screened out. In the end, the remaining bands were the bands shared by most of the evil spirit master's spirits. Finished. Jiang Xiaofeng stood up excitedly as he looked at the screened data on the computer. Tang Wulin looked at Jiang Xiaofeng excitedly. So, we can use it to find all the evil soul masters in the future? However, Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head. How is it possible? Let's not talk about how many people we have investigated in total, but the definition of evil soul masters cannot be simply judged by data. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Tang Wulin's confused expression, sighed and said, you have to remember that some people have normal martial spirits, but what they do is no different from evil soul masters. And some people have evil martial spirits, but their hearts are towards light. Tang Wulin nodded as if he understood, and he didn't know if he understood these words. Wu Changkang's first formal class began. This class was a practical class like in the original book. Students fought against each other in pairs, and the winners advanced, and the losers were eliminated. A female student raised her hand timidly and asked, Teacher Wu, I'm a weapon spirit master. Do I have to participate in actual combat as well? On the battlefield, will the enemy not kill you just because you are a weapon spirit master? At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng raised his hand again and asked, Teacher, can I use self-made non-spiritual tool? Wu Changkan looked at Jiang Xiaofeng deeply. Yes, the first group is ready. The first group was Tang Wulin and Zhao Changxi fighting, and Zhao Changxi was killed in one move. What's there to say? Then it was Jiang Xiaofeng and Tao Liufen who fought. Tao Liufen was a control spirit master, a bit player. When the game started, Tao Liufen just released his martial spirit, and Jiang Xiaofeng took out a pistol and fired a shot at the ground. The deep crater made everyone gasp. Jiang Xiaofeng pointed the pistol at Tao Liufen's head and smiled slightly. My lord, times have changed. Chapter 16 Creation. Looking at the smoking muzzle, Tao Liufen broke out in a cold sweat. He knew that he could not block or dodge the attack of this gun. Once hit, he would surely die. The others also looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in horror. With this weapon, there was no point in fighting alone. As long as the shot was accurate, even the upper soul master would be dead. Wu Changkan frowned. Jiang Xiaofeng, step out first. You don't have to participate in this competition. Tao Liufen, continue the competition. The other students were relieved. If Jiang Xiaofeng continued to participate, there would be no need to fight this battle. That weapon really destroyed the balance of the competition. In the subsequent competitions, Tang Wulin naturally stole the show. His strange power almost blew up the whole class. Zizi was also frightened by Tang Wulin when he was watching the game. He suddenly felt the deep malice from the world. Why are there so many hidden bosses in his dormitory? One has a perverted IQ and the other is invincible in the flesh. About the matter that there are all hidden bosses in my dormitory. Hey, wait a minute. Zizi began to think. Among the 3 people in the dormitory, he was the fastest, Tang Wulin was the most powerful, and Jiang Xiaofeng was the most intelligent. They were the best in 3 different directions. Isn't this perfect? Zizi had already unconsciously imagined a scene, although we are from different planets. But there is only one direction to move forward. That is eternal friendship. We are 3-person team, in unison. Oh, wait, what the hell did I just think of? What the hell is a planet? Also, aren't there 4 people? Why is it a 3-person team? What the hell is this? Forget it, never mind. Unlike the original novel, Tang Wulin narrowly defeated Zizi in this match, because in the original novel, Zizi had fought Tang Wulin twice beforehand, and had a full understanding of Tang Wulin's strange strength and the extremely tough blue silver grass, so he was able to beat Tang Wulin. Now, because of Jiang Xiaofeng's butterfly effect, the two did not fight, and Zizi was unable to fully understand Tang Wulin's strength, and eventually lost the game when he was caught off guard. Then, Wu Changkan naturally scolded the whole class, and the whole class could not raise their heads. The reason was that Tang Wulin, a useless martial spirit in their eyes, had made it to the end, and the others were even more useless. Jiang Xiaofeng, Tang Wulin, Zizi, the 3 of you follow me, the rest of you are dismissed. After saying that, Wu Changkan walked towards the teaching building. Jiang Xiaofeng and the other 2 looked at each other and immediately followed. Soon, they came to Wu Changkan's office. To be honest, Wu Changkan's office was really pitifully small. Jiang Xiaofeng estimated that this office was only about 10 square meters, not even as good as the office of a junior college. The useless I just mentioned also includes you, especially you, Zizi. Wu Changkan looked at Zizi coldly. You have twin martial souls, 18th level spirit power, and 100-year spirit. You are very proud, right? Zizi looked at Wu Changkan in shock. He had used his second martial soul very secretly, but he didn't expect it to be seen. But in the end, you lost to Tang Wulin, whose spirit power is 12, and whose martial soul is blue silver grass. This is enough to prove that it is not unfair for you to be assigned to class 5. Zizi blushed and lowered his head, stammering and defending. I was just careless for a moment, and didn't understand his ability. Don't quibble. On the battlefield, will the enemy give you the opportunity to understand his ability? By the time you know his ability, it may be the time of your death. Wu Changkan rebuked coldly. Zizi was completely speechless at this time. He knew that what Wu Changkan said was right, so he didn't continue to refute. Under Wu Changkan's rebuke, he understood a truth. After losing to Tang Wulin for the first time, losing is losing. There is no reason. Tang Wulin, don't be so proud. Your use of blue silver grass is a mess, and your soul power is too low. You can't hold on for too long. As long as the opponent's soul power is higher than yours, you basically have no chance, unless you do something stupid. At this point, Wu Changkan couldn't help but glance at Zizi again. ZZ, aggrieved. JBG. What's the matter with your pair of hammers? Teacher Wu, I learned forging. Tang Wulin explained helplessly. Wu Changkan frowned slightly. Forging? Why do you, a soul master, learn forging? The early bird catches the worm. You are already a slow bird, and you are wasting your time on these meaningless things. Tang Wulin was about to explain, but Jiang Xiaofeng interrupted him and answered first. But teacher, if he didn't learn forging, he couldn't even afford a soul. Wu Changkan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. What about his 100-year soul? I borrowed it from my family. Jiang Xiaofeng answered calmly. This time, it was not only Wu Changkan who was surprised, but ZZ also looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in surprise. Jiang Xiaofeng ignored all this and continued to explain. He and I have a good relationship. I know he has always wanted to become a powerful spirit master, but his family conditions can't support his soul at all, even though he has worked hard to learn forging for 3 years. Wu Changkan and ZZ did not interrupt him and listened quietly to Jiang Xiaofeng continue talking. Even though he is gifted in forging, he has worked hard for 3 years and still can't afford even a 10-year soul. I didn't want to see his dream shattered, so I persuaded my mother to lend 1 million to their family. That's how he got his 100-year soul. Wu Changkan was silent for a while, turned his head to look at Tang Wulin, and said for the first time, sorry, it's my fault for not understanding the actual situation and drawing the conclusion. ZZ and Tang Wulin couldn't help but widened their eyes and looked at Wu Changkan in disbelief. Wu Changkan was looking at the sky outside the window, not knowing what he was thinking. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Wu Changkan and suddenly said, we can't change this now. Wu Changkan was stunned for a moment, then turned to look at Jiang Xiaofeng. He didn't believe that this sentence would come from a child. Jiang Xiaofeng ignored these eyes and continued to add, even if we all become the strongest in the continent, it's the same. The spirit ring training system makes it almost impossible for ordinary people to rise. Strong spirit masters can basically only come from wealthy families. But didn't Tang San, the ancestor of the Tang sect, and Lingbing Daoluo Huou Heo rise from ordinary people? ZZ couldn't help but interrupt and asked. This time, before Jiang Xiaofeng said anything, Wu Changkan answered his question first. No, Tang San was the son of Heo Daoluo back then, and he was not a commoner at all. And Huou Heo's success afterwards is even more unrepeatable, and neither of them can be used as a typical example. Wu Changkan felt for the second time that his power was so weak. The first time, he watched his lover fall in front of him, but he could do nothing. And this is the second time, knowing that such tragedies happen every moment, he has no place to use his power. If it is a powerful enemy, he can kill it with one sword. But now, for the first time, he didn't know where his sword should go. But he knew that strength was still necessary. If he didn't have enough strength, he wouldn't even be qualified to swing the sword, let alone swing it at anyone. At this moment, Wu Changkan once again had the desire to become stronger. He waved his hand. You go back first, and come back in the afternoon. The three of them returned to the dormitory in a dull atmosphere. Although two of them didn't understand what Jiang Xiaofeng and Teacher Wu were talking about. Why did the atmosphere suddenly become heavy? They wanted to ask Jiang Xiaofeng now, but when they saw Jiang Xiaofeng's silence, they understood. Now is not the time. Jiang Xiaofeng took out a small red bottle, sat on his own bed, and stared at the bottle in his hand blankly. ZZ didn't know what this bottle was. Although Tang Wulin recognized it, he didn't tell ZZ that this was a secret between him and Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng stared blankly at the rabbit energy bottle in his hand, with a lot of thoughts in his mind. He thought he could turn a blind eye to all this, or he would convince himself that he had tried his best. After all, even if he strengthened the night system to the final genius form, it would not change all this. He thought he could endure this darkness, but he found that he could not, because he had seen the light. The country where every citizen can have enough food and drink, the country that can make everyone full of hope. The misfortune of the civilians on the Daoluo continent cannot be changed by simple violence, nor can it copy the methods of the previous life to change all this. Because there are extraordinary powers in this world, the theories of the previous life are not completely applicable to this world. This is more difficult than allowing humans and soul beasts to coexist peacefully. There is a soul system that can create an opportunity to ease the contradiction between humans and soul beasts, but civilians cannot, and they basically have no chance to change their own destiny. Jiang Xiaofeng had thought about this problem a little before, and he put it down after he didn't come up with an answer. And now, he began to think about this problem again, and he wanted to see if he could find an answer. Suddenly, he figured it out. There was no point in thinking here now, because he couldn't see any hope, or there was no hope at all. Kamen Rider build means creation and formation. New science and technology are never born by contemplation alone, but through a large number of experiments to find an opportunity. The same is true for hope. It cannot be waited for, because it does not exist at all. Therefore, this hope needs to be created by one's own hands. Danger level 3.2. Teacher, can I go to school here? Chapter 17 Ancient Moon. Time soon came to the afternoon. Jiang Xiaofeng, who had adjusted his mentality, came to Wu Changkang's office again with Tang Wulin. Wu Changkang, who was sitting in the office, glanced at them and said lightly, "Wait here for a while. You will have a new classmate later." Jiang Xiaofeng and the other two looked at each other. Their eyes were full of doubts, but Jiang Xiaofeng's eyes revealed a hint of understanding. If nothing unexpected happened, they should be waiting for Guyu. But then again, since Nada and Guyu are the same person, are their DNA sequences the same? If so, that would be interesting. The exact same DNA sequences manifested as two individuals with completely different appearances and personalities. Well, I have to study it carefully when I have time. Guyu, who was walking towards Wu Changkang's office, suddenly sneezed. For some reason, she always felt that something bad was going to happen. When she arrived at the office, there were 4 people sitting in the office. Among these 4 people, she recognized Jiang Xiaofeng, who was in her other personality's mind, at a glance. Is it him? Doesn't he look that good? Guyu said in her heart with disdain. Really? Be careful that my brother will reveal your identity in a few days. My brother is super powerful. Just him. He wants to do something that even the extreme Daoluo can't do. The 2 personalities exchanged briefly in their minds and then disconnected. At this time, Nada had already met Yali and was being taken to Shrek Academy by Yali. Wu Changkang stood up. This is your new classmate, Guyu, Soul Force level 15, Martial Soul, Elementalist. After saying that, Guyu greeted Jiang Xiaofeng and the others. Hello. Jiang Xiaofeng and the others also greeted them, but the more they did so, the more confused Zizi and Guyu were. They had no idea why Wu Changkang called them over alone. Jiang Xiaofeng, let me see the weapons you brought this morning. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded, and then took out the pistol he brought this morning from his bag. In fact, the power of this pistol is not very strong. It is a 30 caliber pistol. It may not kill ordinary people. It can only penetrate the human body. This is also to hide his weakness. Moreover, this world is not incapable of making such simple firearms. The necessary technology has long been available. It is just that the power of soul-guided rays is greater. Therefore, this pistol is not suitable for big figures. Wu Changkang took the pistol, closed his eyes, and carefully felt the structure inside. Soon, he opened his eyes, and for the first time, a look of shock appeared on his face. Did you make this yourself? He felt that the structure inside was very delicate, and there were many mechanical structures that he had never thought of. Although the power was not very strong, as long as the strength reached the soul sect, this gun would not pose much threat. But this gun was made by a child, which is enough to show that this child is a genius. Note that it is just a genius, not a madman. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. Yes, I made it at home before. How long does it take you to make one? Wu Changkang asked. Jiang Xiaofeng calculated, if there are enough materials and tools, it will take about 10 minutes. This is true. This time cannot be compressed any further, because he needs time to process the materials into the shape he wants, and this time cannot be saved. Wu Changkang waved his right hand, and a large amount of materials appeared on his desk in an instant. Wu Changkang turned his head, and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng. You should have the tools. Just make another one here. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded quickly and then took out a lot of tools from his bag, which made Wu Zhangkang stunned. In less than 10 minutes, a new pistol was placed in front of them. Although Wu Zhangkang still looked expressionless, his slightly shrunken pupils still revealed his inner thoughts. As for Zizi and Tang Wulin, they have seen more powerful ones, so this pistol is naturally nothing in their eyes. Wu Changkan looked at the new pistol, then looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, was silent for a while, and said, "You are indeed very talented in soul guides, but your soul power is too low after all. If your soul power is not raised, your achievements will be limited after all." This is not that Wu Changkan looked down on Jiang Xiaofeng. Soul power is the root of everything on the Daoluo continent. This is already common sense. What else can Jiang Xiaofeng say about this? Okay, let's talk about business next. Next, Wu Changkan talked about the promotion game. P.S. I won't waste words here. Tang Wulin, Zizi, and Gu Yu are the main players, and Jiang Xiaofeng becomes the tactical core because of his IQ. After talking about the promotion game, Jiang Xiaofeng and the others left Wu Changkan's office together. By the way, Gu Yu, what exactly is your martial soul ability? Zizi asked Gu Yu with some curiosity. After all, they will participate in the promotion game together, and it is not possible not to understand the abilities of teammates. Gu Yu did not hide it. My martial soul ability is to control the 6 elements of fire, water, wind, earth, light, and space, but I cannot specialize in each element. The first soul skill is to reduce my soul power consumption and enhance the power of the element. Zizi was directly shocked by Gu Yu's ability. Good guy, what kind of people are in this class? Why does it feel like there is so much water in this worst class? Although Jiang Xiaofeng looks very weak, Zizi always feels that he still has a trump card that he has not used. Jiang Xiaofeng frowned and began to think. Regarding Gu Yu's martial soul, he has always had an idea and wondered if it can be realized. Gu Yu, can you create electricity through these 6 elements? Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly asked such a question while they were still discussing the issue of the promotion game. Gu Yu was stunned by this irrelevant question and then shook his head. No, I don't have the ability to control electricity. Jiang Xiaofeng calculated in his mind that Gu Yu's current cultivation level really couldn't create electricity, so this idea could only be put aside for the time being. In the next few days, Wu Changkan's devilish training began. In the morning, he ran 5,000 meters. In the afternoon, he did frog jumps and did push-ups, sit-ups, and other exercises. Every day, the whole class was exhausted, even Tang Wulin, who had the most abnormal physique. Jiang Xiaofeng would naturally not miss this kind of professional physical training. In addition to relying on idealistic bursts, the most stable way to increase the danger level is exercise. Although the improvement is slow, it can be continuously improved. In the past few days, Gu Yu always seemed to be closer to Jiang Xiaofeng intentionally or unintentionally, which made Zizi call it a trick. Jiang Xiaofeng finally couldn't resist the temptation and asked Gu Yu for a strand of hair. Zizi originally thought that Jiang Xiaofeng asked Gu Yu for hair as a token of love, and he was still there to make a fuss. As a result, he saw Jiang Xiaofeng put the strand of hair into the beaker without mercy and subjected it to a series of torture. After inheriting the knowledge of the war rabbit, Jiang Xiaofeng also began to develop a great interest in science. Although he would not do anything to kill people for the sake of experiments, Jiang Xiaofeng still had a great desire to explore the various abilities of fantasy. As Jiang Xiaofeng expected, the DNA sequences of Gu Yu and Nana were exactly the same. Good guy, it's almost written on the forehead. I have a relationship with Nana. Another day of training is over. You 4, come with me. Seeing the 4 people following, Wu Changkan turned around and left, and soon came to a training ground. Among the 4 students, he is most optimistic about Gu Yu, followed by Zizi. Tang Wulin's words are more peculiar. He always feels that Tang Wulin's potential should be more than this. As for Jiang Xiaofeng, he should be able to become a good soul mentor, but it is hard to say whether he can enter Shrek Academy. Let's observe first. Starting from today, you will all come for 3 hours of special training every night to prepare for the promotion match in 3 months. Wu Zhangkang looked at Jiang Xiaofeng first, First of all, to be honest, I don't think it's a good choice to let you play, because your spirit power is too weak. You won't be allowed to use props in the promotion match, so you won't have any fighting power. Chapter 18 The Law of Victory. But Teacher Wu, my martial soul can't seem to attach spirit rings. Jiang Xiaofeng took out Pandora's box from behind. This was the first time Wu Changkang saw Jiang Xiaofeng's martial soul, and also the first time he saw such a strange martial soul. This martial soul is completely different from other martial souls. This martial soul is completely a physical entity. You know, martial souls don't actually have physical entities. Even weapon martial souls that seem to have physical entities are essentially made up of soul power. In simple terms, it is solid energy, and the box in front of him is indeed a completely physical substance. If it weren't for the box constantly emitting the breath of martial souls, Wu Changkang would have doubted whether this box was a martial soul. P.S. Because Pandora's box swallowed the protagonist's martial soul, it was stained with the breath of martial souls. Suddenly, Wu Changkang released his own martial soul, Xianxiang sword, and 6 spirit rings were released instantly, and then a sword slashed at Pandora's box. Pandora's box was chopped away for a long distance, but it was unscathed. Instead, Wu Changkang felt that his arm that swung the sword was slightly numb. Wu Changkang turned his head and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng. Your martial soul is very special. In the history of Daoluo continent, your martial soul should be the first example. It is a real object, so there is no way to attach a soul ring, just like you can't attach a soul ring to an electrical appliance. This is a truth. But I can't give you too much advice on your development direction. I can only say that your martial soul is not simple, and it should have a lot of things to discover. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded, and then waved his hand, and Pandora's box automatically flew back. This is also one of his few permissions to Pandora's box. By the way, teacher, can I use the props made from the things in my martial soul? Jiang Xiaofeng took out a red bottle from behind. Wu Changkang stared at the bottle in a daze. He could feel that the bottle exuded the same breath as the box, which meant that what Jiang Xiaofeng said was true, and the bottle was indeed made from the box. But this made Wu Changkang embarrassed. This kind of strange situation had never happened before. He thought that a special topic could be set up for Jiang Xiaofeng's situation, whether the soul guiding device made by the martial soul is considered a martial soul. Finally, Wu Changkang nodded. Okay. Next, Wu Changkang gave the other 3 people some guidance on the development direction in turn. Tang Wulin and Zizi both felt that they benefited a lot. Well, except for Gu Yu. She is at the ancestor level in the Daoluo continent in terms of element control. The development direction has been determined long ago, and it doesn't matter whether Wu Changkang gives instructions or not. Then, the special training will start immediately. The 4 of you come together. I will fight you. I don't use martial souls and soul skills. Wu Changkang announced the content of the special training lightly. Tang Wulin and the other 2 froze in their faces. Jiang Xiaofeng had known this result for a long time. He had been looking forward to this training. Through this training method, Jiang Xiaofeng could quickly master his abilities. Now he can only say that he has a preliminary grasp of the various forms of the creation rider, and he can't say that he is proficient in it. He was just worrying about not having a suitable training target, and now, the most suitable one has come to him. He can use the abilities of 60 energy bottles. No, to be precise, 59 energy bottles, even when he is not transforming. The difference is that the effect of using them will be determined by the degree of adaptation, and the one that can exert the greatest effect is undoubtedly the rabbit, followed by the tank. Begin. As soon as the voice fell, Wu Changkang had a wooden sword in his hand. Then, the wooden sword instantly stabbed at Zizi. Although Zizi was retreating rapidly, the wooden sword was always getting closer and closer to him. Jiang Xiaofeng shook the rabbit energy bottle, and it instantly turned into a red light and hit Wu Changkang. Wu Changkang frowned, obviously a little surprised at the ability that Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly showed, and then the direction of the wooden sword changed, and no longer stabbed at Zizi. The moment Jiang Xiaofeng arrived, Wu Changkang's wooden sword gently hit Jiang Xiaofeng's leg. Jiang Xiaofeng felt a pain in his calf, and immediately lost his balance. The unabated momentum made Jiang Xiaofeng roll on the ground for several rounds. Fortunately, a gust of wind blew over, and Jiang Xiaofeng finally stopped. This gust of wind was naturally the work of Gu Yu, and Zizi also took the opportunity to escape from Wu Changkang's attack range, and began to wander around Wu Changkang, looking for an opportunity to attack. Several fireballs flew towards Wu Changkang, and 1,000 forged tungsten steel hammer also swept towards Wu Changkang. There was a blue-silver grass connected to the back of the hammer, just like a meteor hammer. Zizi also took this opportunity to rush towards Wu Changkang. Their combined attack was a sure kill. Wu Changkang had a wooden sword in his hand, so he had to avoid these fireballs, while Tang Wulin's meteor hammer swept across a large area, and there was no way to avoid it. Wu Changkang could only resist, and the next Zizi was a sure kill. A hint of satisfaction flashed in Wu Changkang's eyes, and then the wooden sword surrounded him. It seemed that there was an airflow on the wooden sword, which rolled all the fireballs towards Zizi, and then the wooden sword pointed at the hammer flying over. Zizi was just about to split the fireball. At this time, the fireball that originally flew towards Zizi deflected again, and flew into Jiang Xiaofeng's hand in Zizi's surprised eyes, and kept spinning in his hand. Jiang Xiaofeng was holding a green energy bottle in his hand, vacuum cleaner. Jiang Xiaofeng swung his right hand, and an airflow wrapped in flames flew towards Wu Changkang again. This kid. Wu Changkang didn't expect that in this training. Jiang Xiaofeng was the one who gave him the most surprises. First the speed, and then this strange airflow ability. Wu Changkang instantly spun at high speed, and the airflow blew away the fireballs that flew over again, and almost at the same time, it knocked Zizi and the tungsten steel hammer next to him away. Wu Changkang did not chase Zizi, but rushed directly to Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng had too many strange abilities, so it was best to eliminate him first. However, when Wu Changkang was about to rush in front of Jiang Xiaofeng instantly took off into the air at an extremely fast speed. Wu Changkang did not even react. He saw that Jiang Xiaofeng was holding a blue bottle in his hand, a rocket. The reason why he used a rocket instead of a flying eagle was that Jiang Xiaofeng needed an explosive speed to dodge Wu Changkang's attack. If he used a flying eagle, he would probably not be able to dodge Wu Changkang's attack. In desperation, Wu Changkang had to temporarily give up Jiang Xiaofeng and turn to attack Tang Wulin and the other two, and Tang Wulin and the others immediately dealt with Wu Changkang. Jiang Xiaofeng floated quietly in the air, carefully observing Wu Changkang's battle. Swordsman, the attack power is extremely high, the speed is extremely high, and the defense seems to be weak, but the effect of attacking as defense is far better than simple defense. And I can only use one energy bottle at a time, which is not an advantage at all. But if the swordsman has no sword, it may be different, so this power should be feasible, but there is only one chance. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and said softly, the law of victory has been decided. When Wu Changkang stabbed Tang Wulin with his sword, Jiang Xiaofeng used the kinetic energy brought by the rocket to instantly rush towards Wu Changkang. Wu Changkang felt the sonic boom behind him, and quickly dodged to the side. Jiang Xiaofeng stepped on the ground to slow down his speed, and the ground instantly rubbed out a lot of sparks, but Jiang Xiaofeng was not affected at all. Rocket energy bottle, universe survival, fist power enhancement, high speed flight, high heat isolation. Finally, Jiang Xiaofeng stopped, and then replaced the energy bottle in his hand with a grey-white energy bottle. He shook the energy bottle in his hand, and then rushed towards Wu Changkang. Wu Changkang frowned, not knowing what strange ability this time, but with the idea of breaking all laws with one force, he immediately raised his sword, and stabbed Jiang Xiaofeng. At the moment when the wooden sword stabbed Jiang Xiaofeng's hand holding the energy bottle gently wiped the blade. In Wu Changkang's shocked eyes, the wooden sword in his hand disappeared instantly, and Zizi, who had been waiting on the side, also rushed up. This time was the real killer. Wu Changkang instantly burst out a huge amount of soul power, shaking Jiang Xiaofeng and Zizi away, and then shouted, "Stop!" Hearing Wu Changkang's command, Gu Yu and Tang Wulin, who were about to rush up, stopped, and Jiang Xiaofeng and Zizi, who fell to the ground, also climbed up. Jiang Xiaofeng took a look at the decisive energy bottle in his hand. Eraser. space movement, transfer existence. It was it that transferred the sword in Wu Changkang's hand at the last moment. And for a swordsman, once the sword in his hand is out of hand, it is basically equivalent to losing this game. This is the law of victory. PS. Ask for monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Chapter 19 Vortex Crush. Tang Wulin, reach out your hand and hold mine. The fight just now made Wu Changkang feel something was wrong. Although he knew that Tang Wulin was very powerful, in the fight just now, Tang Wulin's strength could no longer be simply described as great. Tang Wulin nodded, and then held Wu Changkang's hand. Pull me with all your strength, let me see how strong you are. Tang Wulin responded, took a deep breath, and began to exert force with both arms, pulling Wu Changkang back. Wu Changkang did not move, but the faint soul power fluctuations around him showed that Wu Changkang was not so relaxed. Okay. Wu Changkang called to stop, and Tang Wulin immediately stopped. Wu Changkang looked at Tang Wulin with a strange look in his eyes. I didn't expect your power to be so great. Then our tactics will be interesting. Then, Wu Changkang turned his head to look at Jiang Xiaofeng. What exactly is your ability? How many of those bottles do you have? Teacher, I have 59 of these bottles. Each bottle can give me a different ability. Wu Changkang's pupils shrank slightly. Each one is different? Yes. What is punching enhancement? Flame. Sliding away physical attacks. Releasing spider silk to control the opponent. And Jiang Xiaofeng simply described his abilities like a treasure. Okay, no need to say. Wu Changkang interrupted Jiang Xiaofeng, who was excited. You can't master these 59 abilities yet. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. Some abilities are okay, like vacuum cleaners and erasers are easy to master, but energy bottles like rabbits and rockets that are difficult to operate. He really can't control them well now. He doesn't want to be like Catch Surajita Kumi and ruin the double rabbit form. And you can only use one ability at a time, which brings you great limitations. As long as you can use more than 2 abilities at a time, you will be enough to become a nightmare for your peers. You can try to develop in this direction. Tang Wulin's mouth twitched at the side. He seemed to have really made such a thing. That strange belt and the ever-changing armor made Tang Wulin still remember it vividly. From today on, I will train you to control each ability. When the promotion game comes, you will play together. When they returned to the dormitory, it was already very late. Jiang Xiaofeng barely completed the detection device he had made before, and put it on the head of the bed, and then lay on the bed and fell asleep. Zizi and Tang Wulin also reluctantly sat cross-legged, and entered a meditative state. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng sleeping soundly, Zizi couldn't help but smile bitterly, and said to Tang Wulin, I suddenly feel so envious of Jiang Xiaofeng. After a day's training, we still need to continue practicing, but he can just sleep soundly. Tang Wulin looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, who was already sleeping soundly, and nodded in agreement. Late at night, the campus was silent. Everyone was either meditating in the dormitory, or sleeping soundly like Jiang Xiaofeng. Suddenly, a discordant sound broke the silence on the campus. It was a rapid dripping sound. The sound was not loud, and not many people heard it even in such a quiet situation. But Jiang Xiaofeng was an exception. Because this dripping sound rang in his ears, Jiang Xiaofeng opened his sleepy eyes, and looked at the head of the bed in a daze. He saw a red light spot constantly jumping on the head of the bed. What is this? Jiang Xiaofeng woke up instantly, then turned off the sound on the detector, turned his head to look at the 2 people who were still meditating in the dormitory, and saw that they did not seem to be awake at all. Jiang Xiaofeng breathed a sigh of relief and quietly walked out of the dormitory. Steel moon face space anti-rabbit tank form, yeah. Outside the school gate, a red and blue armored man sat on a peculiar motorcycle. He looked at the tracking system installed on the motorcycle, and then twisted the handlebars suddenly. But the mechanical creator was like a beast, speeding away. She kept running. She didn't know if her mad running was effective, but she knew that if she stopped, she would definitely die. The figure behind her was like a ghost. No matter how hard she ran, the ghost was always behind her, but she could do nothing but run. She knew that the ghost behind her was just playing a trick on her. When it lost interest in her, it was the moment of her death. But she didn't want to die. She wanted to live. Her child was still waiting for her. She also brought a lot of delicious food for her child. If she died, her child would lose his mother. At this moment, she really hoped that someone would come to save her, no matter who it was. But for some reason, no matter how she shouted, there was deathly silence around her. Suddenly, she felt her neck tightened, so tight that she couldn't breathe. She stretched out her hands, trying to tear off the layer of confinement on her neck, but no matter what, she couldn't shake it at all. Her feet gradually left the ground, and she kept shaking her legs, trying to find the feeling of being down to earth on the ground. Leaving the ground, she felt that she had completely become a duckweed in the rainstorm. Stop. She suddenly felt the confinement on her neck loosen, and she fell to the ground. Although it hurt a little, it felt good to step on the ground. Who are you? Are you wearing a battle armor? He looked at the strange armored man in front of him in doubt. Build, Kamen Rider build. After saying that, Jiang Xiaofeng stretched out his hand and a drill fell into his hand. Drill Crusher. PS. Recommended to watch the Masked Live battle machine. The beginning of the experience is available on QGAL. I tell you, we, the Holy Spirit Church, are not easy to mess with. It's just a battle armor. I have one too. A set of one-word battle armor covered the evil soul master, and 8 spider legs emerged from behind. Looking at the structure of the one-word battle armor analyzed on the panel, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but feel a little disgusted. Compared with the creation system, this set of battle armor is simply garbage, with zero growth, single function, and mediocre defense. Once damaged, it basically needs to be rebuilt. Jiang Xiaofeng kicked with his left foot, and the whole person jumped high, holding the drill crusher, and slashing down heavily. The evil soul master quickly overlapped the 8 spider legs, to try to block the attack. However, the reality was not as he wished. The 8 spider legs were instantly shattered, and even the battle armor was split open. The evil soul master was still in shock, but Jiang Xiaofeng didn't care about his state, and instantly slashed his chest several times. The entire chest armor was shattered. No matter how stupid the evil soul master was, he realized that he was no match for the armored man in front of him, and turned around to escape from here. Jiang Xiaofeng took the rabbit energy bottle from his belt and inserted it into the drill crusher. Ready, go. The drill began to rotate at high speed and was wrapped in red energy. Jiang Xiaofeng kicked his left leg hard, and the whole person bounced towards the fleeing evil soul master like a cannonball, and a huge pit appeared on the ground where he kicked. The evil soul master heard the sound coming from behind him and quickly turned his head to see a rotating drill that kept enlarging in his sight. This was the last scene he saw in his sinful life. Vortex break. The woman lying on the ground barely raised her head and looked at the red and blue figure in front of her. The lights behind him were on. This beautiful figure like a painting made her a little dazed. P.S. Another victim whose aesthetics were distorted by Aunt Toei. She whispered, "Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider." Then she lost consciousness. Jiang Xiaofeng scanned the woman's physical condition on the ground. The test results showed that she was not seriously injured and could wake up by sleeping here for a while. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng also breathed a sigh of relief and boarded his mechanical creator to return to school quickly. Now it seems that the evil soul master detection device he made is generally fine. This time he successfully located the evil soul master. However, this thing should not be made public for the time being, otherwise the evil soul master is likely to make some crazy moves. Moreover, his detection device needs to be further improved. Now that new evil soul master data has been collected, he will improve it again when he has time. Alas, I hope I can get up tomorrow morning. P.S. Ask for monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Chapter 20 Promotion Tournament. The next day, Jiang Xiaofeng got up from the bed with bloodshot eyes. He scared Tang Wulin and Zizi when he just got up, but he quickly adjusted himself with his physical fitness of danger level 3.2. In this way, in the next 2 months, he conducted physical training during the day and special training at night, as well as training on the proficiency of using various energy bottles. In order to better simulate the situation of using build armor, Jiang Xiaofeng specially made a super simplified and incomplete beggar version of build driver, which allowed him to use 2 energy bottles at the same time without transformation. At that time, Wu Changkan was shocked for a whole year. At the beginning, Wu Changkan could easily suppress Jiang Xiaofeng. But after Jiang Xiaofeng gradually became familiar with the use of these energy bottles, although Wu Changkan could easily defeat Jiang Xiaofeng, he was disgusted by these strange abilities every time. The relationship between Jiang Xiaofeng and the other four also made great progress in these 2 months. After Zizi removed his cold and arrogant disguise, his funny personality was revealed. Although Gu Yu still ignored other people except Jiang Xiaofeng, they were able to chat after all. When they were training, Gu Yu was able to suppress Jiang Xiaofeng at the beginning, because Jiang Xiaofeng was not proficient in the use of energy bottles. But later, as he became more and more proficient in the use of 59 types of energy bottles, Gu Yu was gradually suppressed by Jiang Xiaofeng. Especially recently, Jiang Xiaofeng seemed to have studied Gu Yu's fighting style thoroughly. Every time the fight started, Jiang Xiaofeng directly took out a purple bottle and then released a strange sound wave from his hand, which made Gu Yu unable to use even the elemental ability and was eliminated instantly, feeling very frustrated. Bat energy bottle, ultrasonic wave, mental interference. Zizi had also fought with Jiang Xiaofeng before. Before that, he had experienced the fear of being dominated by the sixth element. It was not until he fought with Jiang Xiaofeng that he realized that the control of the sixth element was really nothing. The most frustrating thing is that when fighting with Jiang Xiaofeng, he almost changed a bottle after a fight and did not give you the opportunity to get familiar with the combination of these two energy bottles. Moreover, when they fought Wu Changkan together, Wu Changkan could win, but he fought more and more awkwardly. In the end, Zizi came to the conclusion that, even if you fight Wu Changkan, you should not fight Jiang Xiaofeng. When fighting Wu Changkan, at least you have used all your strength, but in the end you were defeated by a stronger force. But since the ability of his twin martial spirits was completely analyzed by Jiang Xiaofeng, Zizi felt that he was extremely frustrated when fighting with Jiang Xiaofeng, and he could not use any ability, and then he was eliminated instantly. In the past 2 months, Jiang Xiaofeng also made a few small patrol robots and sent them out for patrols whenever he had nothing to do, to see if there was anything that needed his help and to help when he was free. So in these 2 months, an urban legend was born. Every time it was late at night, evil began to wake up and the dark forces began to wreak havoc in the darkness. No one knew who would be the next person to be swallowed by the darkness. And in this darkness, there was a hero who was silently guarding them. No one knows where he came from, and no one knows who he is, because everything about him is covered by a mask. People only know his title, Kamen Rider. It is said that this urban legend is not groundless. Several people have seen Kamen Rider with their own eyes, and were saved by him. What does Kamen Rider look like? It is said that, because it was in the dark at that time, they could not see anything clearly, but they remembered one feature very clearly, one red and one blue, glowing compound eyes. Zizi and his friends also discussed this legend in school, but most people did not take it seriously. After all, such things are not reliable, no matter how they hear them. Only Tang Wulin looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with a weird face. 2 months passed in a flash, and the promotion game was about to begin. Wu Changkan called Jiang Xiaofeng and his friends to him. Teacher, who will class 4 send to fight us? Do you have any information? Zizi asked Wu Changkan eagerly. After being beaten by Gu Yu and Jiang Xiaofeng for 2 months, Zizi had long wanted to try the feeling of bullying others. Wu Changkan coldly scolded, "You still need information to defeat class 4. Besides, one of you might have already collected all the information." Jiang Xiaofeng, have you collected all the information? Collected. Jiang Xiaofeng replied. Okay, the tactics will be arranged by you. You must remember that a lion will fight a rabbit with all its strength. In next week's game, I have only one goal for you, crush them. Do you understand? Understood. The 4 people replied at the same time. Xiaofeng, when did you collect the information? Zizi asked curiously. Gu Yu and Tang Wulin also turned their heads curiously. They have been together for the past 2 months, but they have never seen Jiang Xiaofeng collecting information. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled. Isn't it enough to have hands for this? Jiang Xiaofeng took out a display screen from behind, on which was the information of the 4 people who would go to the battle in class 4. This information was not obtained based on the plot advantage, but through some macro reconnaissance robots. When they were training, Jiang Xiaofeng would send these robots out to explore intelligence. Otherwise, why would these robots be built and kept to eat dust? First is Jia Long, a first-ring combat spirit master. His first spirit skill is to increase his own strength by 5%. His punching force is about 230 kilograms, and his jumping force is about. Jiang Xiaofeng was talking about the data he had collected, while Zizi and Tang Wulin on the side had their mouths opened wide enough to fit an apple. Even Gu Yu's mouth opened slightly. This information was so detailed that it simply exposed the opponent's privacy. The school's data might not be so detailed. They suddenly began to mourn for the members of Class 4. They had seen how targeted tactics Jiang Xiaofeng would deploy once he had thoroughly analyzed the opponent. The promotion match began. Because Class 5 was the weak class, in order to be fair, the weak class had the right to decide the participation of both sides. Because of Jiang Xiaofeng's intervention, the number of players in Class 5 became 4. The members of both teams came on stage. Seeing the lineup of Class 4 exactly the same as in the information, Gu Yu and Zizi could not help but look at Jiang Xiaofeng in shock again. Tang Wulin was already used to Jiang Xiaofeng's IQ. Since he said that he had collected the information, it must be correct. The game begins. After the game starts, I will use the bat energy bottle to release ultrasonic waves to interfere with their spirits. According to my analysis, Gu Yu should be the student with the highest mental power in our school. Since even Gu Yu can't resist the interference of ultrasonic waves, they certainly can't. Looking at the 4 people holding their heads and wailing on the ground, Zizi couldn't help but show sympathy on his face. And the next step is very simple. The 4 people who have lost their fighting power only need Gu Yu to use a gust of wind to send them off the stage. This is the law of victory. The game is over. Class 5 of grade 1 wins. The whole audience was shocked because this game didn't even last 3 seconds, and some people in Class 5 didn't even move throughout the whole process. They saw that first a boy raised his hand, and the people in Class 4 all held their heads on the ground, looking very uncomfortable. Then another girl raised her hand, and all 4 people in Class 4 were blown out of the field. That's it? That's it for Class 4. We haven't seen anything yet, and the game is over? We came all the way here just to watch the 3-second game? What the audience on the stage thinks is not something Jiang Xiaofeng and the others care about. Wu Zhangkang looked at the 4 people headed by Jiang Xiaofeng and said coldly, school is over. Because in order to maintain physical strength during the promotion game, Jiang Xiaofeng and the others' special training was all suspended. So now is there free time? Zizi hooked his arms around Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin's necks and whispered, it's rare that we have free time. Let's go out and play. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't have anything to be unhappy about. He usually went out late at night, and there was nothing outside. Now was a good time to go out and play, but Tang Wulin was a little hesitant. Zizi raised a finger. Come out with me. I'll treat you to a meal. All you can eat. Tang Wulin's eyes lit up instantly. Let's go. I'll go too. Gu Yu appeared behind them at some point. Zizi thought for a moment. Okay. With Jiang Xiaofeng mediating, the relationship between Gu Yu and Zizi during this period was not as stiff as in the original novel, and Gu Yu was now very curious about Jiang Xiaofeng. He didn't even have a spirit ring, but he could beat her, who should have been invincible at the same level, without any chance of fighting back. However, she still didn't think much of Jiang Xiaofeng, because in her opinion, Jiang Xiaofeng's use of external forces had its limits, and he would never be stronger than his future self. But on the surface, she still had to pretend to have a good impression of Jiang Xiaofeng, and this was also for the sake of the bet with Naya PS, asking for monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Chapter 21 Light Dragon. Where shall we go first? Jiang Xiaofeng asked. He was only familiar with the roads here, but he really didn't know what delicious and fun things there were. Zizi thought for a while. Let's go eat something first, so that Tang Wulin won't be worried all the time. I know there is a snack street with delicious food. Let's go there to eat. Tang Wulin confirmed again and again. Are you sure you want to treat us? Zizi said helplessly. Yes, it's just a snack. I can afford it. Zizi then turned his head to look at Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng, what about you? I'll treat you? Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a while. Okay, I'll treat you when I'm free in the future. Although he didn't lack money, if Tang Wulin was the only one who let others treat him, Tang Wulin would inevitably feel embarrassed, so he simply let Zizi treat him, and treat him back, when he was free in the future. And Guyu also nodded. Just like in the original book, they came to the stewed beef restaurant. Not to mention, the stewed beef tasted really good, and it had some of the true meaning of the great foodie empire in the previous life. The man who opened this snack bar is Zizi's uncle. Zizi calls him Uncle Lee. They are not relatives, but they are better than relatives. But to be honest, Zizi, who usually has misophobia, is willing to let Uncle Lee, whose hands are not clean, touch his head. This really surprised Jiang Xiaofeng. At the dinner table, Zizi told his story. The gist of it was that his mother married a man who didn't know whether he loved her or not. That is his father. Anyway, his mother didn't live well after marriage. But even so, she still loved Zizi's father. Before she died, she was still muttering Zizi's father's name. After listening to this story, Jiang Xiaofeng always felt a little familiar, and a little bloody. It seems that Huo Gua's mother is in the same situation. Who cares? It's better to suffer with him. However, seeing Zizi's sad look, Jiang Xiaofeng still patted him on the shoulder. Okay. Since you know this kind of pain, then work towards this goal in the future, and don't let others feel this kind of pain. Zizi looked up in surprise, looked at Jiang Xiaofeng and asked, is this possible? No matter whether it can be done or not, someone has to take the lead to try, then the world can become a better place. In this case, why can't the leader be us? Guyu suddenly interjected, isn't this world beautiful? Jiang Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment, chuckled, and then said, how can it be beautiful? Not to mention anything else, Tang Wulin next to us can hardly afford even the worst soul. Not to mention how many such people there are in the entire Daoluo continent. Tang Wulin and Zizi couldn't help but look up at Jiang Xiaofeng. Before this, they really hadn't thought about this problem. After all, they had begun to get used to this environment. If it was a few years later, they might be completely assimilated into this environment. Also, do you know where all the soul beasts are now? Tang Wulin shook his head. Zizi asked curiously, didn't they say that all soul beasts are extinct? You're overthinking it. They're just trying to deceive ordinary people. Except for the existing soul beasts in the ocean, the rest are kept in captivity in the Stardow Great Forest. They send some people to hunt some soul beasts whenever they want. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head and said. Guyu was shocked, but on the surface he remained calm and asked, then how did you know? Jiang Xiaofeng curled his lips in disdain. Their soul guide network system is like a sieve. How could it stop me? P.S. I don't know if there is such a thing as a network in Daoluo. Just assume it exists and treat it as a secondary setting of this work. Tang Wulin said that he didn't care about these things. He was more concerned about the previous topic. Soul beasts are kept in captivity, and then what? Jiang Xiaofeng continued to explain, you know, soul beasts over 10,000 years old have the same wisdom as humans, and fierce beasts over 100,000 years old can even transform into human form, which is basically the same as humans. Can you imagine how sad it is for your people to be kept in captivity by others? Tang Wulin and Zizi thought about it for a while and shook their heads quickly. I have heard a saying, don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. Do you think this Daoluo continent is really beautiful? Tang Wulin and the others shook their heads subconsciously. So it takes a righteous hero like me to change all this. How about it? Am I awesome? Jiang Xiaofeng stood up and pointed to the sky with one hand. Aren't you embarrassed like this? I feel so stupid. Guyu rarely complained. Jiang Xiaofeng looked around and then sat down silently. As long as I'm not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. Ahem. Anyway, that's probably my goal. Tang Wulin and the others didn't pay much attention to Jiang Xiaofeng's silly behavior, because Jiang Xiaofeng also suddenly acted silly from time to time in the past 2 months. However, at this time, if Jiang Xiaofeng had a favorability system, he would see Guyu's favorability +1 +1. After eating the braised beef in a can, Jiang Xiaofeng and the others continued to stroll around the snack street, buying whatever they wanted to eat, and eating while walking. Except for Tang Wulin, Jiang Xiaofeng and the other two were so full. Suddenly, they saw a commotion at the entrance of the snack street, which happened to be the direction of the braised beef shop. "I'll go over and take a look." As he said that, Zizi rushed over without caring. Jiang Xiaofeng and the others quickly followed. "Is it Guanglong?" Unexpectedly, under the influence of his butterfly effect, he still came here. At this time, Uncle Li had fallen to the ground with blood in his mouth, looking at Guanglong with anger. Zizi and the others quickly understood the cause of the incident. It was basically that Uncle Li had no money to pay the protection fee, so Guanglong smashed all his shops. To be honest, this kind of thing basically would not happen in the previous life. Even if you see it, it can only be seen in novels at most. After understanding the truth, Tang Wulin and the others rushed up directly, but they could not break Guanglong's defense at all. Tang Wulin's power was suppressed for the first time, and Jiang Xiaofeng calmly analyzed the method to defeat Guanglong without transforming. Seeing that Jiang Xiaofeng was still not making a move, Tang Wulin could not help but shout, "Jiang Xiaofeng, why are you just watching? Are you in the same group with them?" Jiang Xiaofeng, who had been doing nothing for a long time, took out 2 bottles, one white and one blue, and said, "What are you thinking about? I'm just observing my opponent." A shadow like a caterpillar appeared under Jiang Xiaofeng's feet. The caterpillar turned, and Jiang Xiaofeng instantly came in front of Guanglong, then kicked him, but Guanglong did not move at all. "Is this attack tickling me?" Guanglong looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with disdain, and then punched him. "Be careful." Guyu shouted anxiously, and quickly threw a fireball to try to stop Guanglong's action. Guanglong didn't even look at the fireball, and punched Jiang Xiaofeng. Ah! This scream was not from Jiang Xiaofeng, but from Guanglong's mouth. Jiang Xiaofeng was hit against the wall, and blood oozed slightly from the corner of his mouth, but he looked at Guanglong with a smug look on his face. The law of victory has been decided. Guanglong's hands were full of spikes, some of which even pierced his palms, and his back was also blown to pieces by Guyu's fireball. Guyu was looking at his hand in shock. Clearly, so many fireballs just now didn't hurt Guanglong at all, but this fireball easily blew Guanglong's skin and flesh. Tank energy bottle, acceleration track, impact enhancement, weakening armor. Hedgehog energy bottle, counter injury, internal attack, reducing armor. Guanglong is obviously a power type soul master, and has extremely high defense. Without transforming, Jiang Xiaofeng can't give full play to the power of power type energy bottles like gorillas, so Jiang Xiaofeng's choice is to madly reduce his armor. In the first kick, Jiang Xiaofeng used the ability of the tank. Although it didn't cause any damage, it reduced his body's surface defense. After that, Guanglong punched himself, and was first injured by the hedgehog's counterattack, and then his body's surface defense was further reduced. The hedgehog's counterattack is an internal attack, just like the real damage in the game. So, there were Guanglong's 2. Jiang Xiaofeng walked slowly behind Guanglong. At this time, Guanglong was still gritting his teeth, and trying to pull out the spikes on his hand, not paying attention to the surrounding situation at all. Suddenly, he felt a pain in his butt. This time, Guanglong didn't care about the spikes on his butt, but endured the pain in his butt and ran away with the 2 gangsters. After saying goodbye to Uncle Lee, Zizi also quietly stuffed some money into Uncle Lee's arms, and then returned to the academy. Will that guy take revenge on Uncle Lee? Guyu asked. Zizi thought for a while. Probably not. He was beaten like that, and he can't take revenge for the time being. And I will let my family take care of him. It shouldn't be a problem. And even if he really takes revenge, the person who is quietly guarding this city will not just stand by and watch. Jiang Xiaofeng added. You mean Kamen Rider? Isn't that an urban legend? Guyu and Zizi looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in confusion. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled. No, Kamen Rider really exists, as long as people need it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Artifact, Signal Axe. The second match of the promotion match began, and Jiang Xiaofeng and his team faced the students of Class 3. Similar to the original novel, Class 3 sent out the 3 brothers of the Gu family and another flying spirit master. However, they all knew how to fly, but none of them had a spirit master with long-range attacks. This configuration was very awkward. So Jiang Xiaofeng's strategy was to wait for them to tire themselves out. He stood on the ground and watched them fly, and when they were tired, he would come down. And then, it was time for us to counterattack. And this battle ended, just as Jiang Xiaofeng had imagined, except that it took a little longer, and the two sides were deadlocked for a long time. Apart from that, this battle was basically no suspense. Back in the dormitory, Tang Wulin and Zizi began to continue practicing. During this period, Zizi also proposed to go out and play again, but was rejected by Tang Wulin. Zizi, who felt boring, had to stay in the dormitory to practice. Jiang Xiaofeng was studying whether he could make the rabbit tank bubble can. After inheriting the knowledge of the war rabbit, Jiang Xiaofeng found that the bubble can was not actually used after it was made. It required the user's danger level to reach level 3.5 before it could be used. PS. Secondary setting. The reason why it is not reflected in the TV is that when Zenta made the bubble can, his danger level had exceeded level 3.5, so he could use it directly. Although Jiang Xiaofeng cannot use the bubble can now, it is always a good thing to make it earlier, and he can use it directly after the danger level is raised. However, in the process of making the bubble can, Jiang Xiaofeng can be said to be extremely careful, because the bubble can requires some residual substances from Pandora's box. It is not difficult to take out the residual substances, but if the sky wall is accidentally made, it will be a lot of fun. Suddenly, the mobile phone next to Jiang Xiaofeng kept beeping. Jiang Xiaofeng took the phone and saw a video sent to the phone. It was from a robot sent by Jiang Xiaofeng, and the source of the picture was the school gate. There were several big men standing at the school gate, and some of them were carrying a stretcher. On the stretcher was a light dragon wrapped like a Zangzi. The other big men held up a banner that read, "Killing people pay with life, debts payback, and hand over the murderer. Here it comes." Jiang Xiaofeng thought secretly. If he remembered correctly, this was the beginning of Tang Wulin's cheating. Since he had a good relationship with Tang Wulin now, Jiang Xiaofeng didn't need to deprive him of the opportunity to cheat. Moreover, there were some things in the future that Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't do alone. He needed a companion. Although Jiang Xiaofeng didn't fully understand these principles, he knew that he couldn't be alone. Hey, wake up, something happened. Jiang Xiaofeng woke Tang Wulin and Zizi from their meditation. Tang Wulin and Zizi opened their eyes with confusion. What happened? You can see for yourself. Jiang Xiaofeng handed the video in his hand to Tang Wulin and the others. It seems that it should have happened yesterday. The current situation is that the little one was beaten and the big one came. Jiang Xiaofeng explained. Damn it, they dared to come. Zizi was so angry that he wanted to rush out on the spot. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly pulled Zizi back. Wait a minute, it won't do any good if you go now. Zizi looked anxious, even a little impatient, and asked, then what do you say we should do? Are we just going to stand by and watch? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head. How can we just stand by and watch? The other party dared to come to our Soul Master Academy to cause trouble, which means they must be fearless. Let's go find Teacher Wu now. After listening to Jiang Xiaofeng's analysis, Zizi calmed down, and Tang Wulin also nodded in agreement. Yes, I think so too. It's better for us to find Teacher Wu first. The three of them discussed a countermeasure and prepared to set off for Wu Changkang's office. As soon as they left the dormitory building, Jiang Xiaofeng and the others met Gu Yu head-on. You heard about it too? Gu Yu asked, looking at Jiang Xiaofeng and the other two who were walking out of the dormitory building. Yes, we heard about it too, and we are preparing to find Teacher Wu. Tang Wulin explained. Gu Yu lowered his head and thought for a moment, then agreed. Well, this is indeed a good idea. Let's go see what Teacher Wu says first. Wu Changkang's daily routine is as regular as in the original book, and he can be found in his dormitory. When Jiang Xiaofeng walked to the door of Wu Changkan's dormitory, he was about to knock on Wu Changkan's door, but saw that Tang Wulin and Zizi both took a step back. What's wrong? Jiang Xiaofeng asked in confusion. Zizi shook his head quickly. It's okay, just knock on the door. Tang Wulin on the side also nodded quickly. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head helplessly. It's just fear, and then he hopes to take the blame. Jiang Xiaofeng had this situation in his previous life. No matter whether he was wrong or not, he was so scared, as long as he walked into the office, and then he wanted to push someone to take the blame. With these thoughts flashing through his mind, Jiang Xiaofeng no longer hesitated and knocked on the door of Wu Changkan's dormitory. What's wrong? Is there any problem with cultivation? Wu Changkan opened the dormitory door and walked out. Seeing Tang Wulin and Zizi cowering in the back, Jiang Xiaofeng had to tell the story himself. Wu Changkan listened to Jiang Xiaofeng's narration quietly and said coldly, well done. After that, Wu Changkan walked straight to the gate of the academy. Wulin, pinch me. I seem to have heard an auditory hallucination just now. I seem to hear Teacher Wu praising me. Zizi said dully. Tang Wulin also nodded dully. Yeah, me too. I also seem to hear Teacher Wu praising us. I must not have woken up. How could Teacher Wu praise us? Jiang Xiaofeng patted his head speechlessly. No, I haven't made an extrusion drive yet. How come everyone's IQ has become like this? You knocked on each of their heads directly. Let's go. You don't have an auditory hallucination. After that, he pulled Jiang Xiaofeng towards the school gate. I have a big fist. I want to take people away. Who can stop me? Guang Bao shouted arrogantly. Well, fists are the best, and I hate reasoning the most. A cold voice suddenly sounded. Everyone saw a flash before their eyes, and there was another person in front of them. It was a white figure. With his appearance, the air around them seemed to be frozen. The people you are looking for are my students. I think they are doing the right thing. So, if you can beat me, you can continue. If you can't beat me, just get out. After saying that, Wu Changkan waved his right hand, and a light blue sword that looked like a long sword carved from black ice appeared in his hand. Then, circles of soul rings rose from the soles of Wu Changkan's feet. There were a total of 6 soul rings, and the soul ring configuration was the best ratio of the Daoyi period 20,000 years ago. This configuration was nothing, but in this era, when soul beasts are almost extinct, 10,000-year soul rings are basically only possessed by people from forces of the level of Shrek Academy. Feeling that his momentum was suppressed, Guang Bao roared, and released his iron-armored dragon martial soul. He was also a 6-ring soul emperor, but his momentum was not a little bit worse. Jiang Xiaofeng had already taken out his recording device, and started recording the soul power fluctuations of the two people on the field. Soul power fluctuations at the soul emperor level were precious data. Guang Bao rushed towards Wu Changkan with all his strength, but Wu Changkan only needed to lightly strike a sword to disintegrate all his attacks. Looking at Guang Bao, who fell to the ground due to exhaustion, Wu Changkan pointed his sword at Guang Bao's head and said, "You are not my opponent. Get out." Back in the dormitory, Zizi was still immersed in Wu Changkan's sword. He couldn't hold back his excitement and ran out to play. Jiang Xiaofeng was sorting out the data he had just collected, and Tang Wulin actively ran back to practice. Soon, the dormitory became quiet, leaving only the sound of Jiang Xiaofeng constantly tapping on the keyboard. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng seemed to sense something, and looked towards the place where Tang Wulin was practicing. At first glance, Tang Wulin seemed to be fine, and was still practicing normally. Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a while, then picked up the soul power fluctuation recording device, and began to test it. At first glance, it seemed that there was nothing wrong, but Jiang Xiaofeng still saw something unusual from it. It seems that Tang San's consciousness has awakened. I hope he will not have any impact on the future he wants to create. If it doesn't work, Jiang Xiaofeng can only make a magic weapon for Tang Wulin, the signal axe. PS. Please vote for the monthly ticket and the recommendation ticket. Chapter 23. You are looking for Luzon. What does it have to do with me, Zhao Shiren? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head, threw away all those messy thoughts, and concentrated on sorting out the data he had collected. After a while, Jiang Xiaofeng stood up from his chair and breathed a sigh of relief. The soul power fluctuations of the Soul Emperor level were indeed much more complicated than those of the Soul Sect Soul King. In this way, the evil Soul Master data he had sorted out before revealed many loopholes. However, after spending so much time, he finally sorted out the data. Looking at the empty dormitory, Jiang Xiaofeng, who was bored, sat down again. Speaking of it, he didn't know how Nana was doing. According to the timeline, it is estimated that Nana is already in Shrek Academy at this time. But speaking of it, what role can the dragon energy bottle play in Nana or in Gu Yuna's hands? Logically speaking, Nana was not injected with nebula gas, so she should not have the power to use the energy bottle. At that time, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that the dragon energy bottle was incomparably compatible with her. Is it because Nana herself is a god? Although the gods on Daolo continent are so weak that it is a disgrace to the title of gods, they are still gods after all, and their life level is higher than that of ordinary humans, so they can use the power of energy bottles. This explanation makes sense. Nebula gas is just a medium after all, through which humans can have the ability to use energy bottles, and the more advanced phantom liquid, PS, from the Gris biography, can also drive the night system, which also illustrates this point. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng came up with a bold idea. First of all, Gu Yu's own ability is element control. Well, then take the element as the core and increase the element control power. The appearance will be made into a dragon. After a while, Tang Wulin stood up from the bed suddenly, and he was sweating all over and panting. Jiang Xiaofeng greeted absent-mindedly, "Are you ready for meditation?" Tang Wulin looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, who was busy, didn't say much, just responded, and went to the bathhouse to take a shower. As night fell, Jiang Xiaofeng quietly slipped out of the school gate. If his guess was right, Guangbao would not give up after suffering such a big loss during the day. He probably didn't have the courage to settle accounts with Jiang Xiaofeng and the others after being intimidated by Wu Changkang. The biggest possibility was to go to Uncle Li's shop for revenge, so Jiang Xiaofeng came here early to wait. Otherwise, if he rushed here, after receiving the alarm, the shop would have been smashed long ago, and it would be useless for him to rush here. After about dozens of minutes, an alarm sounded from Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone. After checking the time on the phone, Jiang Xiaofeng closed the game on the phone, then completed the transformation, hid aside and watched quietly. Soon, a group of big men came here, and 2 of them drove mechas here. "Is this the shop?" one of them asked. "From the map, it's this shop. Let's prepare to demolish it." "But why did the boss ask us to drive the mecha here? We can demolish such a small shop with just a few of us." "You don't understand this, do you? The boss is like a lion fighting a rabbit, and it will use all its strength. And with the mecha, we can demolish this shop to pieces." "Oh, the boss is still smart." Listening to their conversation, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but get furious. He adjusted the voice changer in the armor, PS, to prevent being recognized. The protagonist installed it later, and said in a deep voice, "Have you asked me about the trouble in Donghae City?" "Who?" Several people hurriedly looked in the direction of the sound. Under the moonlight, a red and blue figure stood there. You are Kamen Rider?" one of them said in a surprised and even terrified tone. Jiang Xiaofeng walked over slowly. "Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 10. To tear down a small shop, he sent 10 soul masters, plus 2 mechas. Your boss is really generous. I just don't know if your boss can keep his position. If I tear down these 2 mechas, you dare, you will be wanted by the whole city," one of them said fiercely. "It doesn't matter. Anyway, no one knows who I am. As for you, as long as your boss is no longer in office, you will not be able to do anything wrong." As he said, Jiang Xiaofeng took out the drill crusher gun mode and slowly walked towards the people in front of him. "You dare? Let's go." Jiang Xiaofeng slowly took out the spider energy bottle and inserted it into the drill crusher. "Ready, go, you guys, just wait on the side for a while." Jiang Xiaofeng raised the drill crusher, pointed the muzzle at the several strong men who rushed over, and then pulled the trigger. Vortex break, vortex crushing. Several spider webs shot out of the drill crusher, instantly binding several people firmly to the wall. After doing all this, Jiang Xiaofeng slowly transformed the drill crusher into drill mode, and then slowly walked towards the 2 mechas. At first glance, the size ratio of the two bodies is so different. But at this moment, the two mecha pilots felt that Jiang Xiaofeng's small body had an endless sense of oppression. Finally, one of the pilots couldn't bear the pressure in his heart and began to fire at Jiang Xiaofeng frantically. All kinds of ammunition covered Jiang Xiaofeng, and they exploded around Jiang Xiaofeng, and the flames instantly enveloped him. Shining Destroyer Gorilla Mond, Gorilla Diamond form, yeah. In the firelight, a blue and brown figure walked out, with a huge glove on his right hand, and the blue part of his other hand and body flashed like a diamond. The missiles shot at him, but failed to cause any harm to him. He walked to a mecha and slowly raised his right hand. The mecha driver quickly activated the giant sword on the mecha, and slashed it at Jiang Xiaofeng, but it didn't shake Jiang Xiaofeng at all. Diamond energy bottle, physical immunity, energy reflection. Jiang Xiaofeng ignored the giant sword on his shoulder, exerted force with his right fist, and then punched out. Under the terrifying force of 26 tons, the mecha in front of him kept flying backwards like a kite with a broken line, and then fell to the ground, smashing a deep pit in the ground. Sparks kept jumping on the surface of the mecha, and the eyes flashed a few times before finally going out. The driver inside walked out with difficulty, and fainted on the ground after a few steps. After all, it was just a standard mecha of a patrol team, and its actual combat effectiveness was not very strong. Jiang Xiaofeng thought to himself, and then he turned around and looked at another mecha. The pilot knew that, if he didn't do something, he would end up like the man before him. Although that man didn't die, he was definitely seriously injured. Suddenly, he thought of a good idea. Cast off. Explosion of armor. The hatch of the mecha opened, and he walked out of the cockpit. Change Hojo. PS. If you don't know, you can watch the 10th episode of Agito. The classic scene. Cast off. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng standing there in a daze, he smiled slightly. Clock up. He was seen running backwards at a very fast speed. When he ran, he fell down, because he ran too fast. Before Jiang Xiaofeng could react, he had already run far away. Jiang Xiaofeng did not chase him. He first smashed the remaining mecha, and then looked at the driver who fainted on the ground. Well, he was not dead. The mecha bore most of the damage, and the rest just made him unconscious. He took another look at the people stuck on the wall, and saw that they looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with fear, fearing that Jiang Xiaofeng was going to do something to them. Jiang Xiaofeng found a sign, and hung it on them, which read, "I'm guilty, I bully the weak, and I'm willing to be punished." After that, he quietly left the scene. Early the next morning, an explosive news spread throughout the school. Kamen Rider was suspected of taking action again, preventing Guanbai's subsequent revenge yesterday, and almost all the people sent by Guanbai were captured, and the two mechas sent by Guanbai were destroyed. Donghai city officials dismissed Guanbai from his position because he privately mobilized the mecha troops, which led to the destruction of two mechas. At the same time, they also issued a wanted order, officially announcing the arrest of Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider openly destroyed two mechas. This is a world. Whether my people are right or not, that is my business, but if you damage my interests because of this, then it is your fault. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't care about it. What does it have to do with me? Jiang Xiaofeng, if you are looking for Kamen Rider. Chapter 24 Preparation. The wanted poster not only has the reward amount, but also some pictures taken. It is specially marked that Kamen Rider is suspected to have multiple forms, and the pictures above may not be accurate. Students on campus are also discussing this. I didn't expect Kamen Rider to really exist. I said, Kamen Rider must be real, but which form do you like? I think these styles are so ugly. Yeah. But I think it's pretty handsome. Look at this armor, how handsome. Huh. So ugly. Teacher's dormitory. Wu Changkan carefully looked at the pictures released by the official Donghai city. At this time, his attention was completely focused on the eyes of the armored man who called himself Kamen Rider. He could recognize that one side of the eyes represented a rabbit and the other side represented a tank. He was not concerned about whether this shape was good looking, but he thought of something else. Rabbit and tank? If I remember correctly, Jiang Xiaofeng used these two combinations the most. Is this a coincidence, or school cafeteria? I'm telling you, this Kamen Rider is so handsome. I've decided that he is one of my idols. ZZ said enthusiastically. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and asked back, didn't you just say that Teacher Wu is your idol? So he is one of them. Don't you think that someone like him, who hides everything about himself under a mask and shows up to protect civilians every night, is super cool? And he is even wanted by the authorities to protect civilians. It feels like that. Alright, you've said it so many times. Kamen Rider is the most powerful, alright. Jiang Xiaofeng interrupted ZZ helplessly. Tang Wulin, who had been silent all this time, suddenly interrupted. Do you know about ice crystal fruit and red flame fruit? ZZ was stunned for a moment. I've heard of them. These two are very common spiritual fruits, sold in general shopping malls, and have a good nourishing effect on fire and ice attribute spirit masters. What's wrong? These two spiritual fruits should be useless to you, right? Hearing ZZ's answer, Tang Wulin was relieved. He was afraid that no one had ever heard of these two spiritual fruits. According to the figure in the dream, he needed to find these two spiritual fruits and 10 drops of blood from a 100-year-old dragon spirit beast within half a year. Are these two spiritual fruits expensive? It's okay. It depends on the quality, usually around 10,000 federal coins. 100-year-old ones are only available at auctions, usually 1.8 million to 1 million each. Jiang Xiaofeng added. Jiang Xiaofeng also knew a lot about these spiritual fruits, so he was quite clear about the prices. If he remembered correctly, Tang Wulin probably needed 3 things, and these two spiritual fruits should be 2 of them. As for the third one, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't remember it clearly. After all, the names of these things were not important to the plot, and Jiang Xiaofeng didn't remember them very clearly in his previous life. Tang Wulin was stunned. If it was 10,000 federal coins, he could save enough in half a year, but if it was 1 million federal coins, maybe he could get it by selling him. Wulin, what's wrong? Why do you suddenly ask about this? The effect of spiritual fruits is too overbearing. Generally, few people use them. ZZ asked curiously. It should be related to his strength. Jiang Xiaofeng said. Tang Wulin's eyes widened and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in disbelief. I have studied Tang Wulin's blood. In his DNA, there is an extremely overbearing sequence whose number is constantly increasing. According to my calculations. Stop. Say something I can understand. ZZ interrupted Jiang Xiaofeng, covering his head. In short, his strength is constantly increasing because there is something in his blood that is constantly awakening. According to my speculation, this blood cannot be awakened forever. There must be an explosive awakening in the middle, so he needs to strengthen his body and use some spiritual treasures to assist. Otherwise he may die directly. Tang Wulin and ZZ couldn't help but open their mouths. ZZ was shocked by Tang Wulin's special situation, while Tang Wulin was shocked because Jiang Xiaofeng's speculation was almost right. Jiang Xiaofeng really didn't lie to them. According to his research, the proportion of unknown DNA sequences in Tang Wulin's blood is rising rapidly. According to his calculations, within no more than half a year, the growth of this unknown sequence will inevitably usher in an explosive period, and Tang Wulin's current body really can't bear it. Moreover, Jiang Xiaofeng also found an interesting thing. Tang Wulin is a string. Remove that unknown sequence. Tang Wulin has half of the DNA sequence that is very similar to rabbits, and another quarter is very similar to grass. Only 1/4 of the remaining sequence belongs to normal humans. Jiang Xiaofeng even wants to dissect Tang Wulin. ZZ lowered his head and pondered for a while, then raised his head and said seriously, I can barely get together 1 million federal coins. I can't do more. I don't have the power to call on so many resources privately, unless you are willing to sell yourself to my family. Jiang Xiaofeng also took out a small ball. This thing, as long as you sell it, it is estimated that you will have 10 million federal coins. But in this way, I'm afraid our safety cannot be guaranteed. Give me some time, I will modify it and lower its price. According to my calculation, with our conditions, 1 million is the most appropriate, and it will not attract too many people. If you go and take the 3rd level blacksmith certificate, you should be able to earn 1 million soon. Tang Wulin suddenly felt like crying. It feels really good to have such a group of partners who will do their best to help him overcome difficulties when he is in trouble. Well, I know. Tang Wulin did not refuse. It would be too hypocritical to refuse at this time. He could just return it to them when the time comes. Back in the dormitory, Jiang Xiaofeng began to quickly modify the soul guide he made. It was not difficult. He just removed some parts and some soul guide arrays. In short, it was crazy deletion. It was equivalent to asking the god of learning to lower his score a little bit. It was enough to have a hand. Zizi was contacting his family and finding various reasons to ask for some pocket money. Tang Wulin also began to contact Mangshan. After school, in the competition with Class 2, Jiang Xiaofeng and his team also easily defeated the team of Class 2. On the second day, Sunday, Jiang Xiaofeng handed the modified soul guide to Tang Wulin, and Mangshan also came to Danhe City. After Tang Wulin explained the reason, Mangshan agreed to Tang Wulin's participation in the assessment of the third level forger. Jiang Xiaofeng also began to analyze the upcoming confrontation with Class 1. According to the weather observed by Jiang Xiaofeng, tomorrow's promotion match will definitely not be played. This period of time is enough for Tang Wulin to remove the first layer of the Golden Dragon King seal. Zizi only needs to stimulate it to break through the second ring, which is basically a sure win. But Jiang Xiaofeng still likes to study his opponent. Why should he bother to solve something that can be easily solved with his brain? In the afternoon, the typhoon arrived as expected, and the promotion match was postponed for a week. Jiang Xiaofeng deliberately talked about the strength of Class 1. They had 3 second ring and 1 first ring, and 2 of them even had martial soul fusion skills. After listening to Jiang Xiaofeng's analysis, Tang Wulin suddenly felt a sense of responsibility. After borrowing 1 million federal coins from Zizi, he rushed to the Forging Master Association. Zizi also rarely went to Wu Changkang to ask for advice on cultivation. He held his breath and wanted to break through the second ring within a week. Therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng was the only one left in his dormitory. The battle plan against Class 1 had been analyzed long ago. Jiang Xiaofeng, who had nothing to do, began to continue making the half-developed props. A week later, Jiang Xiaofeng finally completed the device he wanted to make. He looked at the silver-white dragon flying around him and couldn't help laughing happily. Because of the enhancement of his body by the 100-year spirit ring, Tang Wulin came back half a day earlier than in the original novel. This also gave Tang Wulin time to adapt to his own abilities. Although the time was not long, it was enough for Jiang Xiaofeng to further improve his battle plan. In the afternoon, they will fight against Class 1. However, Class 1 is no longer a concern at this time. Jiang Xiaofeng and his team may have to keep fighting until they defeat the 4th grade. Please, is there anyone who can come up with a name? If so, please help me think of a name for the Kamen Rider after Gu Yuna's transformation. With element control as the core ability, it is basically an original knight. Chapter 25 Magic Dragon. First year promotion finals. Start. As the referee gave the order to start the game, both sides rushed towards each other almost at the same time, and Jiang Xiaofeng fell behind them. Jiang Xiaofeng shook the yellow energy bottle in his hand, then stretched his hand forward, and a fierce light emanated from Jiang Xiaofeng's hand. The students who were rushing towards Jiang Xiaofeng had no time to react, and their eyes were all directly illuminated by this light that was many times stronger than the high beam. The 3 people on Jiang Xiaofeng's side were not affected, because at the beginning, Jiang Xiaofeng deliberately lagged behind them, which also prevented them from being illuminated by the strong light. This led to the elimination of 2 of the 4 of them in an instant, and the remaining 2 were Wei Xiaofeng, a spirit master of the agility attack system whose speed was suppressed by Zizi, and Wang Jingxi, a spirit master of the strength system whose strength was suppressed by Tang Wulin. Both of them were suppressed in their best areas, and Zhang Yangzi, who could form a martial soul fusion technique with Wang Jingxi, was eliminated early. It can be said that they completely lost the opportunity to break through. So the following battle ended in just 30 seconds. They couldn't beat anyone in a one-on-one fight, not to mention that they were beaten by a group of righteous people. To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that this time was a bit too long. If Jiang Xiaofeng had a better timing, and Zizi and the others had moved faster, they should have been able to eliminate all of class 1 in the first wave. But the other spectators in the arena didn't think so. What the hell is it that the worst class directly crushed the best class? The person who divided the classes at that time must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. It's like a nursing class in the school crushed the experimental class in the whole class. No matter how you look at it, it's the teacher's class division problem. And now, the school of Donghae College is facing this embarrassing situation. It was agreed that it was a waste class, but it turned out that one was stronger than the other. If this is waste, then what are we? Even worse than waste? But no matter what, the result of the game still needs to be announced. I declare that class 5 of grade 1 wins. Since no one expected class 5 to win in advance, the subsequent ceremony was also hastily concluded. However, for the people in class 5, none of this mattered. The more careless the ceremony was, the more it showed that their class's victory had shocked everyone, and the more proud they were. Although they did not participate in this promotion match, after the match, the top management of the academy unanimously agreed that this promotion match should not continue. If it continued, the entire junior department of Donghae College would be broken through, and the academy would be in chaos. And Long Hengsu also proposed to establish class 0 for the first grade, because the first grade students were too special, and ordinary training methods would easily ruin them. So a special class 0 should be established to train them with the top teaching staff. And the best candidate for the teacher was naturally Wu Changkang. On the way back to the dormitory, Jiang Xiaofeng and the other 4 walked together, and Zizi was still saying excitedly, "Did you see their shocked expressions? Haha, it's so cool. I didn't feel it when I played against class 3 and class 4 before, but now I feel it against class 1. That's because we defeated a strong enemy, and we defeated it easily, so you are excited." Tang Wulin also said with a little excitement. Gu Yu said, "Don't get too excited. If it weren't for Jiang Xiaofeng's tactics, we wouldn't have won so easily. Well, someone has to implement my tactics. We are an indispensable team." Jiang Xiaofeng started to be a peacemaker again, but Zizi didn't care too much. "Oh, right." Jiang Xiaofeng patted his forehead and said suddenly, "What's wrong?" Gu Yu asked in confusion. Tang Wulin and Zizi also looked at Jiang Xiaofeng in confusion. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Gu Yu and said, "Gu Yu, I have something to give you." "Oh." Zizi immediately started to make a fuss, and then he felt a pain in his forehead. Seeing Zizi covering his head, Jiang Xiaofeng nodded with satisfaction. Then, Jiang Xiaofeng took out a silver-white mechanical dragon from behind and threw it into the air. The mechanical dragon did not fall from the air, but spread its small wings and flew in the air. After flying a few circles, it circled around Gu Yu. Gu Yu looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with a puzzled look on her face. What is this? Even though she had millions of years of experience, she was completely dumbfounded at this moment. What exactly is this thing that can fly by itself? It seems to be a man-made machine, but why can it move by itself without anyone controlling it? It's not her fault. With the current technological level of Daoluo, artificial intelligence, you are probably thinking about Taozi. Although this is not a complete intelligence, it only has some elementary intelligence, and cannot be compared with the complete intelligence of Xiu Magia, but it has its own unique functions. This is Magic Dragon, the Magic Dragon. A device tailor-made for you. You will know what it is used for in the future. Gu Yu did not refute, and she didn't even have the idea of refutation. At this moment, her heart was already shrouded in extreme shock. I don't know why, although it is obviously a man-made product, she felt the feeling of blood and milk blending from this mechanical dragon. It was as if this mechanical dragon, the so-called magic dragon, was a part of her body. As long as she waved her hand lightly, it would fly from the air to the palm of her hand. Gu Yu also tried to do so, but the magic dragon just flew down a little and flew away before it landed in her hand, as if she had something to scare it. She felt that it seemed to be because she was missing something. It was not Gu Yu's style to hide the problem. Besides, this was something sent by Jiang Xiaofeng, and there must be after-sales service. I can feel that this belongs to me, but why can't I control it? Gu Yu asked. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the magic dragon that was still flying, nodded with satisfaction, and then explained, "That's because your awareness is not enough." Awareness? Gu Yu didn't quite understand. In her understanding, only power is everything, and only those who have the strongest power can get everything they want. Having a firm belief is certainly more beneficial when practicing, but it doesn't play a decisive role in a real battle. Well, it can only really exert its power when you are really determined and willing to fight for something. Jiang Xiaofeng replied. In this magic dragon, Jiang Xiaofeng also installed the core program of the Night system, love and peace. He doesn't want the Night system to be abused in this world. Since Gu Yuan'er can resonate with the dragon energy bottle, she also has the possibility of becoming a Kamen Rider. Although other people can become Kamen Riders by injecting nebula gas, the process is extremely painful and can lead to death if not carefully. So unless necessary, he is not going to let other people become Kamen Riders. Just like what Uajada said, Kamen Rider has only one person, him. And now, Gu Yu herself has the possibility of becoming a Kamen Rider, so Jiang Xiaofeng made the magic dragon and let her try it. If Gu Yu really awakens and becomes a Kamen Rider, that would be the best, because when she really becomes a Kamen Rider, it means that she is also fighting for love and peace. If not, it doesn't matter. Even if this magic dragon cannot be used, it will not have any effect on Gu Yu. At most, the goal of letting humans and soul beasts coexist peacefully can be accomplished by oneself. The next day, Long Hengsu gathered all the first-year colleges on the playground. The first thing he announced was that the first-year Class 5 would be changed to Class 1 and would no longer participate in the subsequent class promotion competition. However, in order to reward the current Class 1, which was the original Class 5, they could have a first-class meal every day this semester. The second thing was the establishment of the first-year Class 0. Under Jiang Xiaofeng's interference, Wang Jingxi and the other two did not have any outstanding performance, so they were not included in the candidate list of Class 0. In the candidate list this time, there were only 4 people from the current Class 1, Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng did not hesitate to sign the subsequent agreement. It was not important for Jiang Xiaofeng to not transfer within 6 years. Moreover, in the original book, this agreement of not transferring within 6 years was not resolved when Tang Wulin and his friends went to Shrek Academy. Seeing that Jiang Xiaofeng had signed the agreement, Tang Wulin and Gu Yu signed the agreement immediately. ZZ did not hesitate too much and also signed the agreement. At this point, the first year Class 0 was established, but it was changed from 5 people in the original book to 4 people. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.